Yeah, well, guys, you're the loudest kid in this room, James. So, Weibo, whoa, let's go!
Kid in the candy store, but it's going to be a tough match going up against the reigning major champions, DZ.
But it might not be the end. I think that's the most exciting part about this entire match with DC and Weibo. They legitimately could take down the current major champions, but it's not going to be easy. And I saw the players, doing their prep work. I saw Gohan and Arjun, these boys, infusing them with that confidence. Hoban, first round, takes down J9O right off the whip from that spawn peek attempt, and that right there is shutting down DC's confidence and gaining Weibo and much of their own.
Yeah, huge opening pick. I don't know if that was a spawn pick intentional from J9O, but he was caught by the window very early on the Azami, an operator that has regenerative utility.
Exactly.
So J9O is not getting the full value out of that Azami whatsoever. One of the most pivotal operators, especially in the late round on these defenses, especially because, Pengu, do my eyes deceive me? Have we gone to the kitchen bomb side on the first round?
We have. I feel like Weibo might have learned something from Wildcard, where you start on the weakest bomb site, or sorry, DC have learned something from Wildcard from NA. You start on the weakest bomb site and kind of work your way into a stronger and stronger position. And it's a matter of throwing a curveball, right? You go into your game with your match prep expecting they're going to go top floor, the most common bombs, that they work out to basement and then tertiary. You kind of remove that prep work, throw them that curveball, and make the players fight for in-game adaptation rather than relying on prep work from the coaching staff and the analyst. So losing J9O this early on that regenerative operator of the Azami is actually going to be even more damaging because they're a much weaker bomb site statistically.
Yeah, but of course this bomb site, it is weaker in theory, but if you can bunker down and stay alive for as long as possible, it does become difficult. The attack can stall out. However, that hasn't happened so far. Weibo, while they are focusing on the vertical game, they've almost killed Faults, a lot of damage taken, and as you say, the Capitao fire is still there. However, Kino is on for a flank, spotted briefly. Weibo seem to be dotting all their I's and crossing all their T's.
The only scary part is that if they can clear Faults with, that fire from Capitao, for example, the only real damage left on the board, by getting rid of those with my magnets, that can literally win them the round. The Clash is the only stopping power for the plan to be successful. And then we saw Kino earlier try and go for a flank attempt, but that too was figured out by the drone work.
This is a great position to be in here for Weibo. However, DZ retaliate. They fight back and they kill the most important operator here in that Capitao that was meant to finish off the clash. However, Hoven can get the job done with his DMR instead. Numbers advantage for Weibo Gaming and time ticking down. What a big one tap though. Oh, actually that was from Kino, not from Newers. But Speakeasy going down does put Weibo back on the back foot.
Issue is two attacks are outside the building, forced to jump in these windows. Not a favorable spot to be in, and last guy's gonna go for hash drop. Gotta hit their shots.
It's not likely to work as the gadget does get impacted by Kino. It's a last-ditch attempt to get into the bomb site. DZ come back despite losing the opening pick, despite losing the clash to win the opening round.
It's a classic, right? DC again, they always have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. There's always these small moments to a round where they have different ways of playing it. And we saw early off, J9O spawn peak, that's going to be the win condition, right? Try and play the game of disruption. That gets shut down. Then they play False Clash passively by the bomb side. Then he dies eventually. And then it's a matter of understanding where the attacker is actually entering from. Have a guy watch the hatch from Soda Machine. Have a guy watch the window from the corner of the bomb side. Now we're locking out the attackers who are in very poor positions to take a fight in their favor, and they make a 3v3 actually go much more on their side despite being on a weaker bomb side.
Yeah, no refrags there from Weibo of any of those pushes that came out from DZ, the retaliative peaks, and what's more, I think particularly losing the Sens gadget. Once that got impacted as it was tossed down, you just can't safely drop down that hatch. You can't aim down sights while falling down the hatch, and once you do land, there are feet holes in that wall, which means the defenders will see him, and he's just completely shut down. Very fast time to kill in this game. So yeah, can't afford to be holding on to a hope and a dream that you can just drop the hatch and make something happen. Not in this matter, not with that utility to support it.
But I will say, that was a very successful attack from Weibo Gaming. They got all their steps accomplished, right? Top floor control, opening pick, verticality, deal with the clash. They just didn't get to a proper bomb site execute. But they got into a position where they could go for an execute. And I think that actually is going to be a big win for them. Yes, it's a round loss, but they're starting off on the right side of a loss. They weren't like getting spawn peak continuously, couldn't breach the wall, so they couldn't get the vert done. They had the right operators, the right utility, the C4 tossed out. Either shot or sapped, either way, not successful. And this is what Iconic spoke about from the disc, right? When you're banning the different wall-denying operators, also hard breachers, you're gonna get this mini-game between the C4, the Bandit, the Tubra, the Maverick, and there's like 1,000 ways it can play out. For the attackers, Hobbin is playing the Maverick, trying to either open the wall, that was too risky, but he sapped off the Bandit battery. That now enables Gotti on the Hibana to then get into a safer breach position with that ranged hard breach destruction, and now ensure the wall gets opened up. Again, we're 5v5. Exact prime position for Weibo. The big question is what happens in step number 2 when you start choosing where to attack. Is it going to be Catwalk Rafters? Is it going to be Aqua? Is it going to be servers? That's where most of this round will be defined if they can find those opening picks.
Yeah, Weibo are playing it slow and steady, similar to what they did last round, but that does make me a little bit worried.
A little bit predictable.
Yeah, exactly. A bit predictable, which means that as that time starts to whittle down, once we've got 45, 30 seconds left and Weibo look for an execute, DZ, if they have the numbers, might be able to lash out. The critical thing here will be taking down J9, or even Kino, and Speakeasy counted on the Blackbeard. The gas and enough damage there to help out Kino. However, a backstab from Weibo finds a little bit more damage. DZ, however, win the exchange as Reaps enters the building. He has been spotted. Now, Bombsite is actually down in control, and that defuser still remains on the top floor.
And again, DC, as I said, in front of one. They have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. When Kino said the action is happening top floor, NGR Newer started playing much more passive by the bombs and saying, if Kino falls, we still have a 2v2 on site. Or a 2v3 maybe, if it all goes wrong. Instead, they had numbers advantage until that very moment. Hobbin finds on NGR. Kino low on health, no gas in pocket, meaning that timer of 40 seconds, it's accurate. So there's actually plenty of time left on the clock here. We're able to make the right moves, divert destruction, cover a couple angles. The big question is, do they leave an attacker above to watch down those holes, or do you stack together on the bomb side?
Oh wow, jump straight inside to try and bait out any potential C4 or traps. The danger here for Weibo as they go for an execute is plant denial. And that could come laterally from above or below here for DZ. Kino
at the same time
and Newers together look to try and push on the same bomb site, on the same floor. Instead of playing the vertical game, they're out of position and they have been outhandled. Reaps from the vert will take down that final player from DZ and guarantee that planter's safety. It's a response very swift from Weibo Gaming.
And again, so much confidence to their actions. They do go for the quote-unquote risky play of having one player above, one player below. It's risky because if that cover isn't perfect from Reaps and the verticality, the planter dies, round is over. But on the flip side, if you don't leave an attacker upstairs and a defender was to walk up that staircase, now it works against you. So it's a lose-lose situation. But they start planting, they get about halfway through, they get off the plant and they swing together. They try and force that 2v2 into a 2v1 on their side, and then the plant is much safer. So Weibo, in terms of fundamental skill and decision making, again, they're good 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah, particularly from Kino there at the top of the blue stairs with the smoke. Just enough damage to get the down onto Speakeasy, combining the gas babe with the shotgun to the feet. Kino, a very prolific shield player. Despite
smoke player.
Yeah, and a smoke player at that. Despite having his unfortunate moment with Monty a few years ago, which you rinsed
That's
him
always going to haunt him, I guess.
It will, but I think that really made him determined to nail how to play shields, and he's one of the best shield players in North America and the world as a result. But I could say the same for Speakeasy. Arguably, top 3 shield player in APAC, and there are a lot of good shield players in APAC.
Maybe top 2. Maybe it's Annie and him.
I think so.
It could be like that, actually.
I think so.
I also think, more importantly, it's not the shield player himself, but can the team play around the shield? And I will say CG, they are phenomenal playing around the shield operator. I think Weibo, similar story. So while you have a good shield player in Speakeasy and Kino, DC and Weibo both understand how to support them, what they need to thrive in a round.
And also how to counter them. That's what Kino was very good at last round. And that's what Fultz is leaning into. Second round out of the Clash pick, one of the best shield counters.
That's a bait, right? They're trying to force the Clash ban, just to get that out of the way, then force the real playstyle after.
Oh, here comes the shield once again. It's Speakeasy. Instead of the Blackbeard, he goes for the Blitz this time. Better in close range, but weaker at long range compared to that BB. Funnily enough, the Monty actually hasn't been banned here. And Speakeasy quite likes playing that as well. So talk about baiting out bans. After this next round, we get another set of operator bans, 1 per team. And Speakeasy hasn't yet shown the Monty. He might lean into that afterwards if they decide to ban something else.
Same story for DC, right? With the Clash, like I said before, that can kind of bait out the Tubro Bandit combination later on, for example. One of many possibilities. We'll have to see when we get there. But for now, it's a very similar round number 3. Weibo forced back DC from the roam game, starting a bit of verticality, setting up for the execute to come later. DC still have a little bit of roaming presence because of Newers and Cafeteria Hallway that could go for flank, but currently isn't. And then they have a clash on the bomb side, giving information, C4 from Wamai, Toxic Babes from the smoke. They have a lot of different ways of dealing with the plant. They're also playing aggro on the cargo stairs, a double reinforced wall that we haven't yet dealt with.
Oh,
so this is DC going for maybe a double flank. Newers in the hallway. If they break the keeper from cargo, they have two different angles of impact.
The question is, will they have any retake ability as the execute comes onto the bomb site? Speakeasy takes a lot of damage again, and it is a retake on the roam upstairs. However, the pick has been found on the bomb site. Finally, full skid active on that vertical game, and the Nitro Cell will deny the plant from NJR on the Wamai. Weibo have the bomb site, but DZ have retaken up above. And now they need to make sure that Weibo can't reclaim that diffuser.
Turns down plan pressure there with the gadget saying, NJ, I know exactly where you're at, but you have no idea if I'm pushing you or standing far away. Meanwhile, Weibo have regained top catwalk control as well, so it's a very awkward map state for both teams. Turton is helped by the bombs to go for a plant, and the roamers above need to find a kill or surrender the verticality, and then their own holes will work against them.
Smoke grenade denies one line of sight, but still active on the bomb site. Reaps will find his pick. Meanwhile, Gotti needs to find NJR. Can't do so. 1 HP on the NJR, the Wamai that denied the plant earlier on.
Has to answer.
It's all up to one of the best players APAC has ever seen, Reaps, as he fires the first one! Oh, Reaps! Something we have come to expect from this man! He pulls through when it matters for Weibo. A massive 1v2 to wrench back the momentum for the APAC squad.
But at the same time, this has been Reeves and Weibo's gaming's biggest problem internationally. Reeves was shot down in big moments like that and started hesitating a little bit. There was no hesitation. He calls NGR, he got the info from Gotti, he is so low on health, if you call him, he has to answer. So he starts the call up, he checks the UI, he sees the fact that Wamai is trying to answer the phone, so now he has his gap, it's a 2v1, but because NGR is busy dealing with the phone, it's a 1v1 effectively. And he knows DC, they're a smart team. They're gonna try to set up a crossfire. I peek the guy answering the phone, his teammate swings me. So he wide swings it off the head instantly, then strafes back to his left side and pre-fires against what should be the most logical spot from the crossfire itself. Beautiful way of picking it apart.
Unbelievable from Reeves, and you're dead right. I mean, the stats don't lie. Reeves is an online player. He's not as much of a LAN player. If you look at the 3 matches that Weibo played so far, hasn't had a positive rating in a single one of those games. His rating at Salt Lake City, he was the 77th ranked player at the event with an 83 rating.
Mind you, this guy owns top 3 APL all year round.
100%, 117 EPS in APL itself. He's also, by the way, as we've always talked about, a very peculiar player because he runs the highest mouse sensitivity I have ever seen from any player.
Yep.
And he kills it every time. It's how he can pull off insane plays like that one. But it's not just about the speed, it's about the precision. And that's something that sets him apart. If Reeps can start delivering on LAN the way he delivers online, then, oh my god, Weibo are in for a massive upgrade.
Arbor Bends, they have actually got shown here to us, rather. And it's very interesting to us. Neither Weibo or DC took the bait.
Yeah.
The Monty left open, the Clash left open, and because of that, we're going to continue seeing the battle for the wall denial and the breaching. The fact that the DC bans the Maverick, Weibo expected to ban the Bandit, ensures they can actually get through those walls.
Yeah, that's good.
Had the Maverick been banned away and they banned the Clash, all of a sudden, 2-bro Bandit can lock you out from step 1. Reeves will clutch big last round, shut down by Jenna. He's playing the striker, so a lot of secondary util, but he's not the most instrumental operator for this round per se.
On the flip side of that, J9O being the Wamai is one of those operators that DZ really didn't want Weibo to ban out, and you can see they're now leaning into projectile denial and shields. However, good read from Weibo with Hoven on the Flores. It essentially bypasses those magnets and makes sure that shield gets destroyed regardless.
I love this about the new operator ban system is that at the highest level of Siege, more commonly we start seeing like a second playstyle being hidden in the pocket, and this is that from DarkZero. Heavy util, a gap being found from Turtle.
Oh no.
He was a second though, but because General saw him, he had to go for that first fight.
Yeah, now numbers are even again here. DZ have lost their advantage. They've also lost a lot of map control. Rafters taken for free by Speakeasy. Critical kill though from Newers. Turd should never be losing a fight like that, especially not with the F2.
Absolutely ridiculous. That changes everything for this round. Mind you, with the Monty, there's one less gun on the board, and there's no verticality. There's no Deimos downstairs, Bach, Sophia looking for a kill, and it's all softball beneath Newers' feet. But no one can find that angle, no one can get that kill necessarily. Now it's a triple crossfire on one bomb side, which means the other side, a lot more vulnerable. That's a clash.
The Clash and the Chunker both counter this Montaigne pick here from Speakeasy. As you say, Weibo lack lethality here. They don't have anyone to go down below and kill these players vertically. So instead, they need to take gunfights on side, and Newers is always happy to oblige. A second kill with the DMR, looking for a third onto Speakeasy, but Weibo have truly stalled out, and they are surely going to fall. Newers with a big 4K. DMR on site is simply a turret and DarkZero responding kind.
Okay, just understanding when you can play in the corner position. Had you known there was a vertical operator like the demos on the board, Newers could not exist on that particular area of the map. But they knew, guys, I'm counting the Flowers, the Striker's dead, there's a Monty, there's, Heartbreach or whatever. They don't have the tools to deal with us staying on these, what usually is unplayable positions.
Yeah. Ironically, the two operators that probably could have been swapped out for a Vert operator, the Solid Snake and the Striker.
Yeah.
Ended up not really being necessary. Of course, the Solid Snake is nice, it makes things faster, but yeah, not quite as essential as some kind of operator to challenge these power positions. If there was a Deimos on the board, I would hate to be playing Faults on the Clash or Newers on the Aruni in a position like that.
I mean, obviously, Weibo didn't know exactly what DC were trying to attempt in that round until they started meeting them in the middle. But the Nomad is like, we don't want to get flanked sort of operator, but there's no chance you get flanked in that round from where you are attacking from, because attacking from outside the building and external doors and windows. Nomad was also super not activated, if you will. He had 2 spare traps and flashbangs in pocket when 3 attackers were dead. So it's like, again, there were options for change, but this is the difficulty with attacker repick. You gotta try and sacrifice X amount of drones, 1 to 5, and how much intel do you want on the enemy's playstyle?
Yeah.
But then it's also a matter of how many do you keep alive to have more drones once the round begins. And you want to try and hit that middle area where you spot out maybe 3 of all 5 defenders. Obviously, you see the bomb site, and then you gotta make a decision. What operators do we bring to deal with all the problems in our path? Like, we gotta deal with both the mute jammers. That could be either verticality or sectarian peace. They got that from Dokkaebi. Then the castle. Well, Hibana is great for that because 2 Expo pellets will break the castle barricade. Then the Clash. That could be the grenades or something else. But Speakeasy, who had those grenades, is now dead early.
Wow, that's
on the Blackbeard, he's 0-5 right now, not finding his kills. That's fair enough, he's playing the shield, but also he's been dead a little bit too early in 3 of these 5 attacking rounds.
An unlucky way to die as well. I think Speakeasy was just dashing open to breach that external wall down in the basement. You shouldn't really be exposing your head to a headshot there. So a bit of a mistake from Speakeasy, an unusual one, as you say, 0-5. Not a common scoreline for him. Also, can I just say, Gotti, 0-4 is a big red flag. When Weibo picked him up just a few months ago after the Salt Lake City Major, they said they picked up someone who just won't die. They said, we need someone who simply will not die. And Gotti had the best survival rating in the world this season at 52%. He hasn't got a kill yet, and he's died every round. And it looks like the rest of Weibo Gaming are soon to follow. Reaps needs to pull off a bit of a miracle, but let's be real, it just ain't happening, especially not against that Clash.
No, complete lockout from DC. They started playing heavy util and said, okay, what if we don't let them in the building? They don't work for an execute. Falls goes wide for a swing and falls down, but that's just one of the 4 defenders upstairs looking for that battle. So now the rest of DC, they all play more disciplined. They fall back, surrender top floor control, help each other with the assignment barriers, and just kind of peel back the layers. They got so much map space to work with, and only 60 seconds left here for Weibo Gaming, who's lacking verticality, soft destruction, and even ways to deal with these annoying laser kids upstairs.
We have one last set of 2x Kairos from Gotti, which can be used on the laser gates if required, or on the Kazami barriers, but the DMR will make short work of those. A plan here is nigh impossible because the retake potential from DZ is too strong. Gotti can give it a go regardless, but no, not safe, and the Nitro Cell forces him out of position straight into J9O's hands. Great shot from Reeves. I cannot believe this guy does it on a sensitivity like he has. 8 kills so far in 5 rounds. Hungry for another one, but he won't have a lot of avenues to get back to that diffuser. Still SMG-12 in hand. Out goes a bait EMP, but of course it won't matter. Straight into the beeper, straight into J9O's hands. He has been tearing Weibo a new one with that DMR as the Americans take the lead.
DMR Merchant, huh? So efficient with that particular weapon, but it's working great in his favor. So why not?
While you can, my friends.
Yeah, that's it. A little birdie told me that DMR nerf is coming. Can't wait.
Speaking of little birdies, I saw Joshua Mills, game director, yeah.
Oh.
Just bumped into him yesterday walking around the venue.
Nice. So he's going to be telling us about these changes, yeah, I reckon.
I've got JV here trying to steal our equipment while we
steal the equipment.
Hello, Team Liquid. You guys are looking lovely. They're standing right next to our casting booth, and there are 3,000 people trying to get their autograph.
The struggle of being famous, huh?
Oh, must suck. I wouldn't.
Lobster to buttery. You know?
Are we going really back to the tertiary bomb site? All right, maybe this is just the real deal from DZ.
It's very unusual, but I will say the one time where I think it's not blatantly trolling going to kitchen is when Clash is open.
Yeah.
Because it's the only operator that really gives you a way of fighting for like the lobby control next to the bomb site. That long
Clash and the
hallway.
Izami as well. I mean, both.
Izami partially, but like that'll be shot by DMR and then like that's it. And the Clash is like unstoppable by most metrics.
Yeah.
Unless you make a huge misplay as a Clash player or get like, I don't know, blatantly counts, which is quite rare to find, you should be more than fine. Like, playing Capital Nomad, that's going to be your counter operators. Nomad makes sure that the Clash can't push into their faces, but ideally what you want to try and get is the Clash stuck in the corner, use the Capital Fire, and then just burn them. But as long as Clash recognizes that you're up against a Nomad and a Capital and positions accordingly, the Fire will do damage, but really rarely kill the Clash operator. We'll just move away.
The thing with a bomb site like Kitchen is it really is a pocket pick.
Yeah.
And fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. If
Yeah, that's
Weibo
it.
lose this twice, that is a massive red flag, especially considering Nighthaven Labs was Weibo's map pick.
Well, again, they're making good progress on the strat. The only issue is it's very similar to what happened previously, so it's a little bit more predictable than before. Comes down to gunfights again. It's also a 5v5. This time, Genano on that Asami is still up on the board. Really looking for Gatia and Speakeasy here. Get your first kill before the half is over, before going on to defense. Because right now, you got the strong gadgetry, you got those strong pocket operators. When you go on defense, you're up against the Deimos, Dokkaebi, the Solid Snake, the Shields. It's not going to get any easier to find your first frag. And finding that first kill is going to be a huge way to gain back some of that lost confidence. Newer 6 better damage. Both fires spent extremely early.
Oh, wow.
While they're pushing the Clash up above.
A lot of damage onto Fault on the Clash. Can they finish him off? Indeed, Speakeasy from behind, off the donut, and on for 2. As DZ feel the round slipping away from them to close up the half. Weibo are desperate to even the score.
Huge gap. That fire was spent very well. Smoke 2 was covering Speakeasy on the push downstairs, so they find, or rather create a gap out of thin air. And it catches DC by surprise. Predictable? No, they were not. They did exactly what they had to and threw them a curveball in response. But it's still those 3 defenders alive. Inside of kitchen is Genano taking a lot of damage, but still staying alive. And sure he is. He can shut down that window jump in.
He's in one of the few safe spots on the bomb site right now, but he won't be safe for long as he's lost his Kiba barrier, and a flashbang from up above is coming his way shortly from Gotti, who's still a little bit worried about that flank. This might enable the jump in here from Turd. Not yet. It's just the bees, and actually they're going for a plant. Hoven forcing that diffuser down. Cover of smoke, but it is next to a soft wall. If DZ knew about it, they might have been able to deny, but not to be the case. We're into a post plan. 3v5 on a nigh impossible retake for DarkZero.
They got the Vert, they got the men advances, and they got the better operators for this kind of post. And DC, they just gotta go for kills. They pop a Nomad and they get injured.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen here. Low HP on J90, and New is trying to retake the hallway. Speakeasy, a 3rd kill on the round. Low HP, J90. It's a flawless cap on the half for Weibo Gaming to tie up the scoreboard.
1 round at a time. Just back and forth, back and forth. And if you're thinking for DC's side, maybe not the best case to be, but for Weibo, you'll love having a close series.
Very much so. Let's have a listen to what DZ are
They're just
thinking.
clearing with the fucking Dokkaebi and the Snake the whole time. Bring the mute out off the extension. We get, honestly, even if we wanted to, we could even run that last scheme, just swap the go out for the mute to give about a little more of a delay and swap somebody else onto the Goyo and put one on the water door. And that'll stop their quick water crank. It'll also make them actually drone and clear off the top. But we need to avoid kitchen. So if you're looking for that. Also, I'd avoid command too, quite frankly. I'd probably go supply and basement.
Okay.
First half. Like supply first, basement second, and on the basement second, just lean into the mute to counter the fucking Snake and the Doke they're using.
Heard.
Yeah.
Heard. Heard.
Outside of that, fellas, macro level here for the attack side. Just at the end of the rounds and like these 2v1s and shit like that, prioritize the aggressive option together. Like they caught us a couple times. You guys already know the rounds I'm talking about. We were kind of playing it back a little bit. The trade wasn't as fast as it could have been. One when there's that plant go down supply, we just double styled through. It would have been 1v1 killing that guy, and the other one was like the 2v1 on the guy in basement. So if we're in a similar situation on the attack side here, proud of the aggressive, just go together and beat together and go kill the guy.
We're gonna have a bulletproof with the Goyo, okay, Goyo?
Yeah.
We're gonna have this. So every time they smoke, try to look the default cam, okay? If you see they are not coming from both sides, look the default cam, tranquilize the team so we can still hold on top. And remember, how they like to clear on top. They would like to split first floor. One coming from kitchen or lobby side, another one coming maybe storage, maybe vending window, another one fork, another one down garage. They like to do this play sometimes. And also, of course, the default map control, 2 guys on top and another 2 on first floor.
Wow, a lot of interesting insight. This is the first time I've got the pleasure of having team comms, coach comms, in the halftime scheduled timeout. Yeah. But it was a little bit confusing hearing DZ because it sounded like they were talking about a defense half, even though they're now going into their attack.
Maybe I was thinking, like, is this from like before the game started where the plan was going into the first half? But no. But I feel like when we got to Gohan's side, it clicked a bit better for me, right? Because call out from DC's coaching staff said that ignore kitchen, for example. And Gohan goes, they always in the guy kitchens. A bit of small adaptations, and I think call out was actually also talking about what they did previously when they were playing that heavy lap, so from their side, and what micro changes they could make for this second attempt, because Weibo will have prepped for that, of course.
Yeah, interesting.
But still a bit surprised or confused rather by the DC approach there.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to figure out what call out was saying, but it did sound like he was making comms about a defense half. He was talking about lean into the mute, lean into this. Which, is obviously what we just saw. Yeah. They said avoid kitchen, I would also avoid command. Maybe they're talking about how to lurk on the attacking side, because that was the big focus for Gohan on the Weibo side when we heard their comms.
Where they attack from.
It was very much talking about, okay, you're gonna play like this, play your setups, you know your setups, read your handbooks. But DZ, they like to lurk from here, they like to lurk from here. Of course, we actually haven't seen a lot from either of these teams on this map during this tournament. We've seen both of them play at once. DZ beats Secret, Weibo beat EP. But the funny thing with the format here at EWC is we don't have a round robin phase. We have play-ins, which is double elimination. We have groups as double elimination. We have playoffs, which is single elimination, which means DZ have only played 2 games so far, and Weibo have only played 3. So a lot of material hidden in the back pocket for both teams, which means the name of the game is your adaptability, not what you can guess the team is going to do, because good teams will have new stuff every single day.
Seeing a potential, maybe, fast tech here from DC, a Glass in the mix, Capital, Blackbeard. It's one of those lineups where you can find a kill pretty much out of nowhere, right? Sophia downstairs, 3 big booms, that can be a vertical kill, Glass to a smoke, that could be easy, Capital fire, you get the idea. There's a lot of different ways of getting that opening pick advantage, but also a lot of ways of dealing with various problems in a round. Should there be soft destruction required, a clash on the board, or an annoying to deal with position on the site. The only thing they do not have is any like reliable verticality. There's no, Buck Demos downstairs. Sophia has 2 more explosive canisters in pocket. We saw DC bend away the Kite Mirror, so a similar fashion. A lot of work here on the hard destruction of step 1, ensuring that you just blast through those walls, not get stuck on the outside of the building. And for Weibo, they didn't want to get intel red paint by the Grim Beast because they want to stay in those specific player positions and not have all that pressure upon them. And Thermite for the exact same reason of the reinforced walls.
Patience here could pay, never mind. J90 gets swung on from Turdster. Uncommon to see the guy going negative. He's the top-rated player for Weibo. And he's on the Azami, back on defense. Turds is definitely a defense player. He prefers that defensive side.
Give this guy a spot, and he plays it beautifully. He masters that one spot. It can be catwalk rafters. On Clubhouse, it can be catwalk right here.
Retake attempts. Aided with the Thorn Trap from Speakeasy. Speak about retakes, a lash out from Reeves onto Electrical as DZ try and get aggressive. Weibo very much ready for it.
Just gotta make sure that right now when you Weibo, choose who's holding what angles and leave no gaps. DC, they bring the fight to the defenders and they just fall apart. It's gonna be a flawless first round here for Weibo.
I mean, to cap off what was a flawless end to the first half as well on the attacking side for Weibo indeed. It's 2 flawless rounds in a row for the APAC squadron, and DZ starting to sweat a little bit. They will take their tactical timeout, and Call Out immediately gets another chance to talk to the team.
Hey, you guys hear me?
Yep. Yeah.
Prioritize going off the base book here like that was a completely different setup. So if we do see something like that, if we only see what we talked about before, only call the prep. If not, call it as we see it. So like an opportunity right there if we go back to attack in the command later and we see they're giving up bottom and they're going to play top with traps heavy, we can just go linear off that, like towards the weed side, and then we can flip back into Rafter, or we could just start with Rafter. We don't necessarily need to go for a quick spread and something like that, because they're not doing the 41, remember? Like right there. Correct me if I'm wrong, we said it was a 50. We only do that attack if it was a 41. Because we want to take the 5v4 on site, correct?
Heard. Yeah.
Make sure we're reading that, fellas. Same thing, it's a CAG game here. Don't get married to any one tag.
Heard.
As we see it. Or keep it simple, too. You make it a little bit creative, be a little bit creative.
Indecisive. Hand warmer. Sorry, Nick.
Infamous for their cryptic comms call out saying there's a 41, there's a 50. They have code names for different strategies. Had an interesting podcast recently where Call Out and some of the boys were talking to Parker Intero on his podcast, and they have so many technical terms and so much prep, but really insightful there. Call Out said, guys, we got baited into what we had prepped for them, what we had VODed them, what we expected them to do was not what they did. That is massive credit to Gohan and the Weibo gaming side, because they're changing their setup. And so Call Out looked at Fultz, the IGL most experienced player, former world champion from DZ, and said, okay, stop focusing on the prep, call it as you see it.
Yeah. If you recognize the prep, you can do it, but if not, call it as you see it, right? It's one of those understanding that we're in the moment. These guys have actually done a little bit of depth to the strategy.
For sure. Also mentioned the CAG game as well. Of course, it was a big surprise to see DarkZero go a map down to CAG in the qualifying game for this tournament. They're actually only 2 rounds away from being knocked into the lower bracket by another APAC team who eventually didn't make it to the playoffs. They lost 7-2 on lead to CAG, if you recall. That was a very dominant scoreboard against them. It's not common to see. I mean, they were very strong in NAL and, of course, extremely strong at the Salt Lake City Major. They only lost 2 maps throughout that entire event.
Okay. Successful bandit trick. I like this, right? DC sends a sole player downstairs. See, can I get the ball for free? No, it gets sapped away. But because DC only sent that one attacker, all the other 4 members are still progressing the map, droning top floor, entering the building slowly, and continuing to gain some sort of map control. Or a lot of teams send 2-3 guys by the breach because, oh, it's gonna get open up, boys, right? Don't worry about it. You don't get it open, and now you're just wasting precious seconds.
I mean, you say they're taking map control, but they're actually struggling to do so. Look at the extension here from Weibo. The Solus has done a phenomenal job. Even Hoven roaming on the first floor. DarkZero, a minute into the round, are only just hard breaching and entering into kitchen cafeteria, and they're about to walk into a crossfire again.
This is the big moment. Tursta again in that position where you're playing for your life. Either you get a kill or you die.
Jammer is also going to protect against the Blitz's flash in close range. Good kill from J90. Tursta cannot stand forever, but apparently he won't need to, because Gotti and Hoven together have done most of the dirty work. Hoven almost hitting 10 kills, and Gotti with a Nitro cell to take down the Blitz of Kino. It's Fultz, the man who was meant to call the strat, now has to call a 1v3.
Play it as you see it. They walk straight into trap once again. Such a good cross for them from Weibo, understanding who's peeking, who's playing that pillar spot from Turdstar, and they all get out alive. I say all, the 2 people did die, but people that were in those prime positions, the Gotti, the Turdstar, they got out. They were the ones that were supposed to die first, probably, in that strategy. There's a good C4 there. Now all they gotta do is play safe. Play by a jammer if need be, run away from the gadget.
It's true, but you also have 2 shotguns here on Weibo, so they'll have to be careful not to take long-range
but this guy can't plant. 7 seconds of Fultz, you got 3 members, a C4, a Solus, and if he goes down any of those staircases, nothing is stopping Turst or anybody else from like retaking the top floor control and use the vert against him.
Yeah. You're damn right. I think the big thing here is Turster on the Solus. He's got the best gun, he's also got the gadget to call where Fultz is pushing from and where Fultz decides to plant. The only win condition here for the attack for Fultz is just if he can find a free pick here or there, or if Weibo make a mistake.
Huge mistake that would have to be.
Jammer jams out the death mark.
Exactly. They use that one jammer probably by the bomber side. They just rotate players on top of that location. 20 seconds, Jank over plant. Again, C4 and plug with Speakeasy, and 3 minutes that can swing you.
And they're not getting baited. And they take the kill as well. Big from Turdstar. Bigger round from Hoven though. On the Goyo, on that roam. It's a perfect roaming setup. Every player from Weibo complementing each other, and a second round in a row where DarkZero have no idea how to attack. They've had 2 kills in the last 3 rounds.
Also, just like when you bring out the bandit shotgun, it can be so tricky to get value in a round. Gatti found 2 kills. One with a gun, one with a C4.
Did he get the kill with the shotgun, or
I honestly did not recognize during the chaos of the round, because I think he got the kill on the player jumping in the vending window, which could have been vert below, could have been from the staircase. I'm not entirely certain. But either way, he got these 2 kills.
Yeah.
So everyone's on the board now. Like Speakeasy's there, Gotsy's there. And honestly, big praise towards DarkZero. He has been a player that, you know, came up, was a little toxic in the beginning, got dropped from the roster, then brought back because he actually retrialed and beat everybody else in the trial system for it. And since then, I don't want to say more humble, but maybe more mature.
I think definitely Turd needed a coach who would demand his respect, right? And Gohan, he's like 6'5".
Demands your respect.
He's huge. Even before he opens his mouth, he's actually a very kind man and a very well-spoken, softly spoken man, very smiley, very gentle, but you can tell he's a no bullcrap kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna whip you into shape, and if you mess around, he's gonna tell you, okay, that's enough. Turd was, I think, 18 years old when he moved to Singapore from New Zealand to play professionally with Bleed. He's only 21 now, and while he is the best player on the team, and he was the second highest rated player in the Asia League, he's very inconsistent. He went 4-12 against Furia, and then 21-9 versus Enterprise. So he is up and down, but tends to be up more than down at the moment. Good kill though from Kino. However, the barbed wire actually finishes off Faults, and the push is very quickly thwarted here from DZ.
Yeah. There's no second go at this because there's no second shoot to go for that same kind of push. So you go elsewhere. Met by Castle Barricades, denying you an injury path forward. So Weibo get a bit of breathing room. Communicate, okay guys, how are we going to play out this round? Do we still hold on to top floor control? Well, yes, 3 people, only leaving Reaps downstairs by the side. Spare Razor Bloom pocket for information. And it's going to be very comfortable by side. I think the Barbed Wire also still alive on the window jumping, so he has so many different tools to work around. For DC, it's once again playing for an opening pick somewhere, hoping Weibo will make a mistake. But no one's swinging. No one's having an ego going, oh, I'm bored, I'm going to go for a peek. No, they understand. If they do nothing, time will be on their side. DC, they have to make the first move. And there are Castle Barricades on all the important doors.
DZ are great at calling win conditions when it's in a 5v5. Very difficult to do once your main push has failed. And the Lion will telegraph that DZ are looking for something, as will that nade to destroy that castle barricade. When does Turd go for the swing? Does he time it with his teammates? He's currently holding a very narrow angle, hoping that he can swing off of Speakeasy's contact.
It's a really good crossfire established. Again, no ego there from any of the players in Weibo Gaming. They would peak that in the past, but not now. They are locked in. They are playing this as seriously as they possibly could. And DC, they're starved of options.
Could this be an early map point for Weibo? DZ are not looking too confident here. And finally, the swing comes through from Turd. It's goodbye to Newers. J90 and NJR, 2 versus 4. And again, they're just fishing for a pick. J90 knows there's somebody above him, but I don't think he's going to be gifted a chance. NJR, however, is. And Gotti to fall, that's a big player to take down. No more smoke available. And a second kill comes out as well for NJR on that top floor. Bomb site is down below, but the pressure vertically is now alleviated.
They're looking for Turdstar up the aqua stairs for a flank. They want to get the kill, but now he can just run away. And he's got the case, 20 seconds.
Turd knows he can just fall back. There's no way NJR gets back to site and finds that kit with it. He's going to have to go for both kills. And Turd should know about it. What a shot, though! 1v1! But he's up against Reaps, who's 12-4.
It's cancelled
at
off.
the moment. He doesn't
in.
have the defuse. He's going to have to push for the kill. He doesn't know where Turd is. He goes for the kill onto Reaps. Close-up range, but Reaps withstands. Balls of steel, he will wait, and there is no shot for NJR to clutch. It is map point for Weibo.
So disciplined, so decisive. And again, they're not falling apart in those critical moments. Crossfire established, and then Tursta makes a huge decision that saves the round again. When both his teammates around him top 4, they fall apart by getting picked off guard. Well, he recognizes, oh my god, I'm getting pushed from Catwalk and from Aqua Staircase. I gotta pick a fight. He turns towards Aqua, gets the kill, runs away. NGR, heroic effort in like an impossible position. But this is Weibo making good play after good play, more so than DC making inaccurate or bad plays. They've had the wrong read, the side rush, 50-50. You get in, you get the kills, you win the round, you get in, you die, you probably lose it. They're willing to play that risky game despite being down 3-5. Maybe trying to catch Weibo by surprise, but not to be. They have been so ready for all the attacking pushes thus far.
3 map point opportunities here for Weibo. Reaps is having a hell of a life game as well. I mean, even just the skill required to hold on in a moment like that, never underestimate it. Reaps, I feel like this is a big moment for him in the tournament where he shows that he can have a big performance on LAN as well. He's not just an online fiend, right? A map like this is certainly a good part of that conversation. This is his best performance of the tournament so far. I mean, you look back, his EPS in stage 1, like I said before, 117 against Fury at 96, against EP 91, against Virtus.pro 100. He hasn't had a standout performance as of yet, unlike Turtster who went 140, Hoven or Gotti who went 120 and above. This is a big moment for Reaps and a big moment for Weibo to go 1-0 up in the series. All they need is one more round.
And it's all about holding on to that, right? If Reaps can show up right here in map number 1, that is half the story. We need him to be consistently showing up, also in map number 2, map number 3 if you have to go there. Because you cannot write off DC too early in a BO3, but you also cannot get ahead of yourself and saying, if Reaps drops 12 kills here on the first map, he'll do so in the second, because that has been the problem, consistency. DC, they are one of the most consistent teams with the system that they have in order and how they play the game. So for Weibo, I think we gotta look at every single round. Every round victory is a huge win for them, but the job is not done just because you're up on Nighthaven Labs. They're looking to get it done in 7-3 fashion. They got Speakeasy on the Clash to stop any of those pushes. DC are onto a more, let's say, consistent operator lineup. It's not going to be about the 3-2-1 fast push with the Glass, the Blackbeard. It's going to be about utility, picking apart the setup. And they're also playing into a much more default defense, I would say, from Weibo Gaming. They're going to be having fights in the more predictable spots, in more usual circumstances. And really the only thing DC are kind of lacking here is verticality. Yes, they have Sophia that can use a gadget downstairs for a singular kill, but imagine you had a Bocker Deimos for this round, right? There's no mute on the board, and they're all standing on the soft floor.
NJR trying to hold the flank. His air jabs will help him on out. That was actually the trap thrown out by Reaps, who finds the kill.
Was he not full HP?
Onto NJR, 100-0 so quickly. Wow, this is not a good look for DZ, who haven't won a single round on the attacking side as of yet. If that trend continues here, I mean, it's done and dusted. We go to Lair.
Incredible start. There's that Sophia. Shoots out all the primary gadgets. So now, again, no value from beneath. It's all lateral push right now. It's all in front of you. But you're up against the Goyo Fire, the Clash Electrification, the Baba, the Asami Keeper Barriers. This is going to favor Weibo heavily. DC got to hit some gnarly shots. Brute Force opening somewhere on the map, and honestly right now, I don't see any gaps.
Yeah, but there is a chance here to take down Speakeasy using the fire there from the Capitao. However, he manages to find a spot where the floor is not lava. Fault needs to find kills here, making his way forward, but Weibo are not giving up anything. Reaps finds his 14th as Kino finally finds a gap for DZ, but it is not enough to find a way into the bomb site. No more util remaining except one flash in pocket for Kino, and he's gone down. Gotti to find the double, and Weibo Gaming to take the first map handily. Indomitable on defense. The APAC squad is one map away from their first ever semi-final.
Celebrations, handshakes, hugs here from Weibo's side, but as we always say, the job is not done. I think Gohan's gonna walk in and say, guys, good job, one more map, let's do that again. But this proves the level at which Weibo can play when they're at their very best. And it proves that this game, which people go, easy DC victory, not so easy after all.
Maintain that pressure, because I feel like as a player, a lot of the time, the closer you get to the win, the further it actually feels, because we just start to think about it more and more. So being able to detach from that and go for it again is going to be very big for Weibo here.
Playing with house money because no one expects you to get past DZ. Now you're at the door of getting past DZ. Do you start to think about it too much? Now you're like, we're here. Wait a second.
That's the question here. Looking at DZ2, looking very calm, look like they had a good reset going to this map. I'm expecting a lot closer one here.
Picks and bans here to kick off map 2.
I like the Solid Snake ban. I think it's been so useful on Lair to clear out so many positions. You get a lot of intel just from outside of the building with that radius. So it's a strong one, especially to remove against such an aggressive team.
Capitao too, going to help the top mez extension, especially too if they want to bring the Clash for the chest extension too. Yeah, it's going to be just shutting down a little bit of the clear potential in the hard zone spots. Look to see some more Sophia Deimos come out for that.
Best of 3 on the line here in Paris. DarkZero. Wow, expectations so high for this team, but staring defeat right down the barrel if they cannot get this map win. It's Weibo Gaming now with the pressure to close it out. We'll see what happens as we send it back over to Dev and Pinker.
Thank you, Reindeer. Yes, we will indeed. DarkZero have everything to lose here. As one of the tournament favorites, they need to step up on their map pick of Lair. But look, Pengu, in the last 6 months, DZ have only lost this map a single time out of the last 7 plays. However, that was against little old APAC in CAG, and it was a dominant 7-2 loss just 5 days ago. They haven't played it at the tournament outside of that result, however, have been very good locally within North America. I wonder if Weibo have been studying that DZ versus CAG map and picked up a few tricks.
And you said it best, right? They played this map a fair bit in North America, but going back to Callout's timeout that we saw in Nighthaven, is the unusualness of Weibo to catch them off guard, right? Oh, they didn't do the prep work. They didn't expect it from them, and I think, honestly, when you look at APAC, that's always been the story. Yes, they tend to play a bit more simple in the server. Yes, they have maybe a little less prep work, but now we have imported coaches. We have Gohan behind the players. They got much more layers to them.
Absolutely. I think you said it, Weibo play weird. Well, if you're not used to playing in the APAC region, then yeah, you might think so. I think that a lot of teams get so familiar with how their region likes to play that they underestimate other regions. Now, there's a reason why Wildcard chose not to pick Weibo. Wildcard had a choice between picking Weibo and Furia, and they wanted to play Furia. Yeah, Furia over Weibo. So DZ may be getting a little bit more than they bargained for.
Well, Wildcard said, now those guys, they play weird, man. We don't want to get into that.
We don't want to play that.
We don't want to get in the mix of that. It's just an unknown entity the entire way through. I like if NGR, though, swung out early, exchanged bullets with the glass. So him and Hoven are equal on the health bars.
If there's anything going for DZ here, it's that they're back on the defensive side. Funnily enough, Weibo chose to start on attack here on Lair, but DZ have been a lot more comfortable on their defense. However, this could be a cracking way to start the attack here for Weibo if they do land the 3 big booms with that Zoth. The first boom to land is actually on Gotti, however, as Speakeasy takes a hell of a lot of damage as well. Big Nitro from Faults.
Sophia downstairs is quite nice, but if she's like wasting time looking for that red ping to come through, you're not going to get a lot of value. But Reap's simple solution. Demo strike, get the ping, shoot straight through the floor, get that kill. That's NGR. There is still Kino on the smoke, popping a bait, falling on back. Could even reinforce as well, but it's too busy with the verticality downstairs, so that rotation will stay open for Speakeasy to utilize later on. Nero's low on health, Hob and Speakeasy low on health.
They're giving up ground. They're actually just giving the entire of Arc 6 room over to Weibo. Well, this is risky though, Pengu. This will have to be a retake. Speakeasy could be in a plant position in just a few moments.
He's about to be. Track comes through, punch the desk, and there's 1C4 impacts in pocket though.
He's already low on HP. There needs to be a retake here to push Hoven off of his position. Otherwise, he will be able to prevent that flank. Hoven doesn't matter as Weibo again fire up on their attacking side. And look at this, there's time remaining. They don't have to rush. It's up to Newers and Kino to try and cook something up, but it's not happening. The bait again and again as Hoven with low HP. Newers does find him. Speakeasy in the 1v1. This has been such a big round for Weibo right up until the 1v2. A much-needed clutch up for Newers to stem the bleeding from DarkZero.
Such a hard spot to be in there if you're hard, right? You're 1 HP outside the window. If you jump in, if there's a barbed wire or a trap or a person waiting for you, you're as good as dead. So he's staying in the exterior of the building until that final moment in the 1 versus 2 where he had no other option. But Newers, great job, pushed forward, isolated gunfights, found the first. Then it's just a matter of taking down the Blackbeard, which again, 1 HP because that C4 early on to Speakeasy did all the damage required in that round. A lot of good moments, though, again, from Weibo. It's not a round loss where they fall apart early. It's a round loss where they do really good job early on. Problem solved on the fly, adapted, got into a plant position. And had it not been a trade between Kino and Turtsta to get into that 1v2, the coverage would have been perfect. So we're talking tiny details of adjustment here for Weibo. Whereas for DC, gotta dig a little bit deeper probably in towards the problems. We saw it on Nighthaven Labs. Thankfully for DC, they find the first round, and the problems of the past won't chase them right at the heels, not yet at least.
5 seconds to go.
Still, there's one thing to win a round in a clutch, another thing to win a round because you played it convincingly. And a
round win is a round win. In 3 rounds from now, you won't recall what happened in that first one.
Sure, but a lot of the micro went wrong there for DZ. Weibo have a lot of bite on their attacks. Don't forget, remember the start of last map? It was very similar. Yes. DZ won a lot of rounds off of small moments. Now, Weibo Gaming lost a 7-0 earlier in the tournament to Virtus.pro and came back to win the next 2 maps. I talked to Gohan after the game, and he said, I was very happy after we lost that 7-0. We had an embarrassing result, but we knew exactly what went wrong in all these minor details. We knew exactly what to fix for the next 2 maps. And I think we've seen that in a few of these rounds where Weibo have let it slip. I hope that DZ are thinking the same, because especially on their attacking side, too much has been going wrong.
Turdstar Fuse LMG. Hoven playing the Nook, creeping around. Speakeasy on the Monty.
Spiker said it, they play weird.
Yeah, how do you prep for this? I'm not sure you do. A Clash Shield. Well, that means that Nook sneaking around, no longer effective. They'll be watching out for that. New is looking for a backstep as well. Here's each other. Question is, do you want this fight if you're Hoven? Because the Clash will close in. You gotta get out of there. And he will jump out the window. Don't want to get 2v1'd.
Yeah.
Focus elsewhere is okay, but Speaky tanked the C4 earlier, I believe, from Newers, which means his health bar is not looking too great. Has to really respect Kino now with the Toxic Babes.
And you can see DZ continue pulling on back. They're happy to give up this map control again and look for a retake later in the round.
Smart there. He's worried about the verticality and the crossfire from that angle.
And here comes the Fuse to actually open up some of that verticality. This is such a strange attack here from Weibo, but DZ actually also defending it in a very unorthodox way as well. As Foltz peeks outside for a bit of info, the Clash is an instrumental part of this defense.
Yep, that's the whole retake as well. Bit of a battle. There's like an island in the middle, right, that nobody wants to go into. Tursta goes down from Newers, who's still downstairs by the rocket staircase, and that's going to open things up with DC and further stall out the push.
Problem is here for Weibo is having top floor control is only good if you can go for an execute. Now they do pivot. We've got 2 players dropping down below. As Hoven needs to try and prevent the retake. Indeed, he does. He wants to try and get up in Foltz's face as well, as that Clash continues baiting back and forth. Meanwhile, the plan has been confirmed by Weibo. It's a difficult retake now for Newers and Foltz. But with that Clash shield, they at least have a way to deal with Speakeasy. On the Monty. Oh, big shot onto Gotti. If you can do enough damage on the Speakeasy, this might be possible. Newers tries to get up in his face. It's Reaps up on the vert above that needs to have a big impact. Speakeasy's taken down. It could even become a 1v3 if the revive can happen here. Indeed it will. But there's not a lot of time on the clock here for DZ. Reaps just has to prevent that counter defuse from coming out. And a shotgun kill up close from J90. Big retake from DarkZero.
A little bit of a blunder there from Weibo, though they're stressing that injure on the staircase where, guys, you have the 3 versus 2 effectively. Leave the guy injured, fall back, play the verticality. They're chasing for that kill confirmation. You can just have Monty extending inside the bomb side, where Reeves watching from above from the vert, and you can fish for a couple of kills. Instead, Speakeasy unextends the shields, dies here unnecessarily, and then they get for the revive and the retake and the round victory. So that was a bit of a shake there from Weibo.
Yeah, Weibo are shaking for the first time, but they'll take a tactical timeout and immediately look to try and fix their mistakes.
I don't know if it's worth wasting a ban on him, to be honest.
Yeah, heard.
So
I agree.
Just bring the mute out. Fuck
What do you think is a good ban then?
Grim?
I think we're gonna go. Well, we're about to run the basement roam now. We could do Ram, then go for consolidation after, and like put Baja type of deal for bunks, and then we play down for the basement consolidation after going roam here.
Yeah,
it could be good, or honestly, just read.
If they repeat that, we need to be prepared, okay, guys?
Yeah.
Come on, guys, come on. We're the best here, guys. Come on.
Come on.
We can do this shit, guys. Let's go.
Come on, guys.
Then we're gonna go for Armory then.
Of course, the confidence there at the end, just saying, come on, guys, we got this with the best team that is here. And I think that's what they need, because a little bit of choking in the server, if you will, small indecisiveness, hesitation, and leadership, a little bit lackluster at the end of that round.
We just needed to stabilize for Weibo.
It really was a matter of...
If you're Speakeasy, I mean, you've got a Monty alive and a post plant, you're going up against the Clash. What's the most important thing? Just don't feed the Clash.
Yeah, that's it, right? I mean, Hoven was in a top spot, found the injury, found the injure, and then just could not make up his mind.
Yeah.
Do you go up the staircase? Do you push the Clash? Do you get out the door? Wasn't sure about it. But that's not the issue. Hoven did his job. He got the 1-for-1 trade, but peeking from outside the window, trying to fight back against the Clash after, it's like, that's unnecessary.
And like I said earlier, I mean, literally the one reason why they got Gotti instead of Ape is Weibo just wanted someone who simply wouldn't die. And I said this stat on the first map, but I'll say it again. The best survival rate in the world in Stage 1 at 52% of rounds survived. And he's also the top 6 at EWC with 41%, despite already losing 2 maps. You have other players who have played on teams that haven't even lost a map yet.
Yeah.
And Gotti is still in the top 6. And yet today, he's really struggled. First map, I wasn't very impressed. Second map, 1 and 2 so far. It's very uncharacteristic out of Gotti.
It just means that he has to fix his own problems, so somebody else has to step up and cover for him. That was kind of what Reaps was doing in the first map, having a stellar individual performance.
It's a problem for a lot of the Weibo players. Turd, Reaps, and Gotti have all been quite inconsistent.
Have to see, though. For DC, they're going to feel a lot better about this. They feel like they finally have control over the round, how to problem solve, and reading correctly into Weibo. I think Newers in particular, I mean, he won the first round 1v2 clutch, and second round he gets 2 kills, and he finds the opening frag. I mean, that's massive.
Yeah. And I think DZ have really restabilized and got a better read on the way that Weibo are playing. They're happy to expect the unexpected and then play off of what happens. Last round, the plant went down. Didn't matter. DZ say, that's fine. We've got 2 players. We can slowly find picks back. And another opening kill. Guess who it's onto? Yep. Gotti is dropping the ball. This is very uncharacteristic out of the Korean.
And DC also defending this in very unusual fashion. They're almost not even playing by the side itself. Instead, they're highly prioritizing holding top floor. 2 people watching the flank, 1 guy watching the vert. That means they're ready for a fight above, but also covering the player downstairs, Newers, who's playing that instrumental spot of locking down the bomb site. If he falls, they can push in deep, and then the round could fall apart for DC.
So close to that bomb site, so tempted to make a play onto it. Speakeasy does get inside. He knows he needs to find the kill onto Newers first, but he's straight into the crossfire. Great aim from Newers. Quickly minces up Speakeasy by shooting his feet, and a lot of damage as well, as Weibo Gaming are stalled out. But who other than Reaps will find the opening? Immediately followed up with the E1D, the lion scan from Turd. While we have players in the bomb site from Weibo, it's not enough.
No. With the shield being dead, who's going to make that push? I mean, you look how unsure Weibo are about the player locations. Know where Newers is, but not about anybody else.
The vertical control is too powerful there, and Newers on the bomb site. Does eventually go down to Turd, 1v3, as he can grab that defuse. Never mind, he can't, because Foltz is watching it from up above. The most convincing round we have yet for DarkZero, as they go 3 straight on defense. Weibo have burned their tactical timeout and found nothing for it.
A little bit too linear. A little bit too simplistic, but even when it's simple, it gets complicated. Because you had a sole player, Speakeasy in the Blackbeard, pushing Newers, sprinting. Feet exposed, gets shut down by Newers immediately, no follow-up, no trade, and also he had the diffuser. So they lose everything with 1 member dying, plus they lost Gotti early. Operator bans, Wobei and Deimos. I'm all for it. Again, Weibo, gotta deal with so much utility. Womai is gone, makes life easier. DC, worried about the verticality and information gathering lethality off that vert.
Speakeasy.
Bit of tilt because Speakeasy now 2 rounds in a row has made a couple of errors.
Yeah, he keeps dying on the shields just by exposing his feet. Perhaps he's not used to playing against players that are so quick and unfearing of those shields, and because it's a skill issue, right? Like, you have to quickly flick down to the feet, land enough damage to try and get the down. And with the TCSG, that time to kill, time to injure by the feet,
it's a few shots.
It's 2 to 3 bullets depending on how much damage you've taken outside of that. And Speakeasy perhaps not used to players being so quick to land that. 3 rounds in a row, DarkZero have found the opening kill, 3 rounds in a row, and they have looked better every single round as it goes. Remember that first round, that atop onto the top floor.
Yeah.
Weibo looks poised to win it. It was a clutch from Newers. Second round in, plant down, looking Weibo favored, and DZ retake. Third round was the first time that DZ looked well and truly in control.
And now they've flipped the way they're gonna win, right? Now they're gonna play Chubero, Bandit, and then playing Goyu and Smoke. All about the clocks, burning down the timer. I think also recognizing that Weibo are gonna slow down the game right now because they're dying early, they're making mistakes, they're like getting caught off guard. So if you expect them to play slower, you're playing time denial, you're double dipping.
Yeah, this is good read from DZ.
You're also forcing them into like problem solving at, I want to say, like at the highest level. I think the dance around the bandit batteries and the hard reaching is such a beautiful way of playing the game. And right now in the attack and lineup, who's supposed to go downstairs and deal with NGR? I mean, everyone has a primary weapon, but there's no operator right now where like, oh, we're gonna deal with the bandit. That's because NGR was hiding in server room the entire drone phase.
Yeah.
Weibo probably don't even know that bandit existed until the round started.
And one of the best counters to that bandit is the Deimos that DZ banned. The Deimos that,
I mean, Sophia below would be good, IQ.
Very
but
true.
Yes.
Any vertical operator. We've even seen Weibo recently rocking the buck as well. A bit of an old school way to do the vertical.
course, home with the bailiff second a shotgun could become that Vert operator, but again, he's fighting against maybe a roamer. They don't know because again, Demo's tracking. They don't have solid snake available. The Vert is there. He sees it and feels the pressure. But if you don't get those bandit batteries off the wall, the Heart Breacher cannot do breaching. That means that you have people in wasted positions not helping each other progress the round, and you're not getting further. Then you start feeling pressured and stressed in the server, and you start brute forcing a play, getting impatient, and maybe getting caught off guard again.
Yeah. And as we saw on the face cams earlier, a little bit of tilt from Weibo. Very early in the game to get tilted, I must admit. So they've got to make sure they keep their mental in check and continue working through the checklist in this round, because as you said, the win condition here for DZ is the clock, and they've already burned 2 of the 3 minutes.
And they haven't done the hard breaching. Turns is AFK the entire round watching a flank. Hobbin look up the Vert. Now they're getting gassed up on the main staircase. I mean, what exactly is the win condition? They're going to have to flip the attack for the 3rd time. There's not enough time left for that. 55 seconds, and only 2 people, now 3, have even entered the building.
Kino's got the read, but he might be revealed here by the Grim Bees. And indeed, the flank from Fultz with the TCSG in hand on the Goyo.
I don't think they know either.
DZ are in perfect positions to win this, and they don't even need to make the first move. Turd, an unusual miss from him as Fultz are able to get away safely. Kino as well contesting with the shotgun in close range, hungry for more. Gets taken down, but Turd is also on the floor. Reaps finally
the timing
wrenches over the numbers advantage here for Weibo, but the time is of the essence. DZ still maintain the map. They still have the bomb site. It's going to be 15 seconds left. How do you not see him? Gotti finally takes out NJR. It's J90 and Fultz to clutch up, but they have an impact and a nitro cell between them. Now it's just up to J90. This was looking like the best round Weibo had had up until Reeves comes up big with the triple. Finally, Weibo off the donut and onto the scoreboard.
Not the way you want to win a round, but thankfully they just get the round regardless. Again, everything fell apart. The time, the wing condition, the only breach, the reinforced wall there from Gotti with 20 seconds left on the clock. And no easy way forward even after getting that breaching done. Turd went even upstairs. Asanin thankfully ran away. Turd gets revived to get 2 kills. It kind of bites them enough space in the server. But DC, I mean, they have gotten to a different level right now in terms of just countering Weibo, putting up difficult problems to solve in the server and not showing their full hand in the drone phase. So they're now making Weibo play how they felt like they were attacking against them. Yep. Oh, they're not doing the prep work. Now we gotta adapt on the fly. It feels like that's the kind of flair they're putting into this matchup, saying, hey, you don't know what we're doing, have fun figuring it out.
But again, mid-round mistakes can cost the round. For example, NJR was the bandit prone on the floor in the bomb site.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was just the noise and calamity of what was happening in the server, but he didn't hear the breach open up behind him.
Maybe he thought it was clear, like he rotated away or whatever.
Exactly, and it meant that he wasn't in a safe position. There are a lot of safe positions still to play on that bomb site at that time. If DZ had been able to play the clock just a little bit more, perhaps they would have won 4-0.
Also, small thing, Kino did burn 2 toxic babes on the rocket staircase when there were nobody from Weibo because Fultz was downstairs. Yeah. They arguably probably should have thought that it was clear.
A lot of respect for Weibo.
Well, Weibo did rotate off it because they did have that person. Just did flank it after the fact.
Yeah.
But if that toxic babe was on side, you know, what if?
Still a bit scary. A round should not come down to the clock having less than 10 seconds there for Weibo getting into the bomb site. But we'll see. This bomb site here was, again, a very strange attack last time and a very strange defense from DZ. They brought the clash out once again for the second and final round of the half. Oh, Newers might be on for a run out here. Doesn't have the read. Doesn't know Speakeasy's droning. That would have been a free kill.
Again, just a quiet... bit of quiet before the storm happens. We know that once the fighting starts, it's not going to end until the round is over. DC, they will either lash out first with the clash, utilizing a push somewhere with a gun behind it, or it'll be Weibo finding a gap somewhere and finding that opening pick. Newers has been so good at playing the solo lurk game.
Yeah.
Just his game sense of understanding where he should be and where the enemy could be as well. When you saw the window prep, there was 2 attackers right outside. And then things, okay, don't get me called, they might know.
I actually go for
Thatcher, Smoke, Monty.
This could very much be on. Is there any smoke in position from Kino? NJR has to get active right up close and personal. He doesn't realize the shield is blocking the damage, but not enough! Reeves will trade, but the plan has been denied for now, which is exactly what DZ needed. The win condition has been found as Kino immediately follows up onto Hoven. Gotti and Reaps left to salvage what is a not irredeemable round. Maybe would have been possible if Reaps had found that kill. Now he's in the bomb site. He has the defuse. He might be able to EMP out that bulletproof camera and look for a plant himself, but it is a fickle affair. There's a Vert above him. There are flank opportunities, especially from the main stairs.
They have no real intel either. Smoking it in pocket of Gotti though. Maybe Smoke can go for a plant, but then Gotti has to pop off with the coverage. Ideally, you find a kill here for Weibo, but DC, they can just sit back. They got a camera inside, so that's no longer EMP. They got full intel on the push and the plant.
It's time on the board here for Weibo to play this out for the next 10 seconds to feel out whether they can take a 1v1. A 2v2 might just be possible. Reaps, though, needs to land his shot, and it's not going to be easy when the angle there from that staircase obscures his position. Now he once again does go for the denial of the info, but Newers is still watching the Vert, and this is going to be a 4th round for DZ, I'm sure of it. This should be easily deniable from the Vert. A good read from Reaps to take down Kino, but surely not going to find a second or even a third. There'll be 3 seconds of 0 on the clock as the Nitro Cell all but confirms it. He's forced off, and DZ will win the round on time.
I mean, we're talking half a second, James. NGR just barely saved the round for DC, sprinting on in, whiffs the entire first magazine. The Deagle comes out and it finds the plant there of Speakeasy. But also, you're planting in the smoke. You can't see through. There's no glass behind them. It was just a regular gun. I think it was Reaps himself actually looking. Yeah, right there. So that smoke and it works both ways. It's super risky to plant in the smoke like that. I guess they are hoping to catch them all by surprise, and they wouldn't be thinking, oh my god, they're going for a plant. But guys, when you're smoking and EMPing with Thatcher, you're kind of telling them that what you're going to be doing.
For sure. I mean, there's no way that you wouldn't read that there's a plant going down in that position. And the smoke coverage was not vast enough to obscure the plant position, right? Like, you've got one smoke, you know you're somewhere in that smoke, you can pre-fire a lot of the obvious positions. If they threw another smoke deeper, then they might have been wondering, oh, is the plant happening a little bit further up? Maybe he has to pre-fire more positions. But as soon as he starts shooting and he hears the bullets hit the shield, he knows roughly where that Monty is. Another option would have just been flashing while that smoke was there, because even if he knows where it is, while he's flashed, he's not going to be able to land those shots. I mean, his chances drastically reduce. So DZ, look, another round where it comes down to such a narrow margin, but a win is a win.
Yep.
And 4 rounds of defense is exactly what DZ need when they fail to attack even for a single round on Nighthaven Labs. I think they'll have a lot more confidence moving into the second half here, especially if they can find a 5th.
It also does make the story of a 3rd map that much more exciting, that it's a close loss on the 2nd so far for Weibo in the rounds. Yeah, it's not been a landslide. You cannot write them out just yet.
Scoreline might not be close, but the rounds certainly are.
And I also will praise DC's playstyle. They are not giving, I was going to say, any easy openings here for Weibo any longer. They keep falling back, playing the layers, giving up map control, comfortably playing by the side itself. And the reason why they can continue to do so is they keep playing utility operators, right? Whether it's going to be the Castle, the Jaeger, like right now, Plant Denial, like the Shanga or Smoke, then still having information for the gunfights in traps. Notably here, the Ella and the Thorn. But they also have Spare, Util, and Pocket. 2 Griswold Mines from NGR. 1 Razor Bloom from Kino on the Thorn.
Expecting the shield.
They're expecting active usage against shields, for example, but also, as this round will change, they will start putting down those traps in areas where they need them. So for a specific staircase, a specific door, when they surrender the flank watch, for example. So when a gun can no longer watch the angle, Grisma goes out, now you're watching the angle for me.
I tell you what though, Speakeasy here is running primary shotgun on the sledge, which means that once he creates the Vert, he's going to be fighting Kino, and he will have the HP advantage in a shotgun v shotgun battle, which he should realistically win.
But it is Kino. That guy believes he's a bit more shotguns than anybody else. It's a bit more lethal, does a bit more damage on range, shoots a bit faster. That's the Kino special. He's going to be the playmaker, stalking Toxin behind a shield, stalk all the way deep in the corner. Very unusual location, but it counters the Vert. There is a frag grenade in pocket of Speakeasy, so if there's no ADSs, he could die relatively easily. But if he has a bit of coverage from that Jaeger device, that could be everything.
Oh, never mind. Speakeasy goes down. Yeah, I don't think they knew that Newers was holding this position deep inside. Reaps has snuck into the bomb site, takes a little bit of damage. They know where he is. This is Hoven. Reaps, though, does finally jump inside, take matters into his own hands and take down Newers. He's now deep into the bomb site, but falls with it. A chunker will finish off Hoven. defuse still remains on Gotti. Weibo have 30 seconds to get into the bomb site and look for a plant position. They are deep, but they have to go for the peaks and the cover there. The crossfire. As the flank comes through from J90, DZ maintain dominance on their defensive side, is turned up against the world, and he can't even find the first. It's a 1v4 for the young Kiwi as he looks for a second. J90 and NJR say absolutely not today. It's DZ with a 5-1 domination on their defense as we move in to the halftime vibe check.
All right, real quick, we're doing the base package here. A couple things I need to recap though for us. Bulker, if whatever reason you want to go for a trophy side OPK, remember the protocol in case they have like the Cade / like tube extension. We actually put you on that window. You bounce the nade off the top to get rid of that tube if we want to open that wall up early. Make sure we're doing that. If we want to do that for whatever reason. We're actually putting you on the window. Don't play it from deep off that. And then Jack, obviously, you're going to be holding for his fucking rocket run down on that. Other things to note here, fellas. We're doing the standard bans, which means that bathroom side with a Thorn ban. It also means that the shields in play are going to be really good right now because they're not going to have the clash. For the third ban, you guys are going to read it based off arc, obviously. The only thing that I would say to watch out for that I could...
Hey, relax it. You are every round trying. Oh, and now. Bro, you don't have Dalbats. We have a plan and you follow. Okay. This is the big problem here, guys. We have a plan and we are not following. Instead of doing what we are good, we are doing what? Things that you are trying to discover now. Guys, this is not, this will lead us to defeat. The thing is, pay attention now, guys. They like to come on top floor. Zulu, shield split. Bathroom, 2 guys on shield, on art. So the thing is, pay attention on that. We already have a plan. We need to follow. We don't need to try to improve 10 times one thing we don't need, Yeah. That's the thing, guys. So let's trust in the map. Let's trust in the map we have. Until now, you guys are just trying. You lose 2 rounds and start to get scared to lose. Guys, forget about this. We don't have pressure. Remember yourselves during the game now. Remember, they have the pressure. They will have a big pressure to finish this.
It feels very much like a battle of the coaches. Both mentioned the presence of the shields in the bathroom with the Thorn ban and where the attack will happen and where the defenders start to fight back as well. And on the other side, Go mentioning a very important concept here from players in a very high pressure situation. You become afraid of losing. So you can play to win or you can play to lose. Always making the safe play, not taking the risk, and also doubting yourself in those moments. We saw the hesitation when Gotti had a red ping on Kino's Thorn, refusing to swing for the gunfight. When he did go for a swing, he's hip-fired, looking the wrong direction, instead being a bit scared of failing in that big moment.
Yeah, for sure. Also quite notable the difference where Callat was all strategy, all tactics, all, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is what they're going to do. He does also leave a lot of power with the players. He says, if you want to do that, that's what you can do, right? On the flip side of that, a lot of Gohan's tactical timeout for Weibo was mental. And when I spoke to him after they beat Virtus.pro, which of course they lost 7-0 on the first map, he said, I think this team's mental game right now is the best it's ever been, and I'm so proud of them for that. But we haven't seen that so far on this map, because as Gohan said, why are we trying new things, right? You don't need to try new things mid-game when you know what's tried and tested from before. You're coming up with an idea to counter something. I mean, it's nice in theory to play loosely, but do that after our defaults don't work, right? If you lose 1 round to a clutch, that doesn't mean you have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. Stick to what parts of the strat work and try something more. I think this will work better for Weibo. Now they're on defense. Yeah. They don't have to iterate as much. They can come in with the strats that they've written, with the prep that they have brought into today, and stick to their guns.
I'm with you on that aspect, but the 1-5 half is not enough in my mind. I mean, you have to be basically flawless to have a fighting chance at that. Anything is possible, as we always like to say. Do not count anybody out too early, but it just feels like DC right now, the way they were managing to rotate on the defensive side, get themselves in strong player positions, always have a crossfire, and not give anything up for free. Have that same mentality on the attack. Utilizing Kino's shields with the Clash and Thorn ban. It is gonna be Kino's game to win right now on the attacking side, because he has almost no direct counters against him. I'm surprised he went for the Blackbeard, but this is the time for it, because he's much more sheltered given those operative bans. The Monty would be the super safe option, obviously.
Yeah.
But you're going to get the frag grenades, worst gun.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you do really expect DZ to lean into the shield here, as Kino, one of the better shield players in the world. American flag there on the commando for J90. The 4 Americans on the squad for DZ have really helped forge a new era for North America. Of course, Kino as well won the most recent 2 major wins for North America. One with DarkZero, one back in last November in Munich with M80. Nice vert game here from Newers on the buck as Hoven starts feeling that pressure, though somewhat supported by the keeper barriers.
All about the process right now for DC, right? The place that they excel at. Step 1, get the buck downstairs, get a bit of vert, use the flashbang from the window rappel, and then walk in the black. That's all you need to do. Kino will lead the charge on all the entries off this map. That's step 1, conquered here for DC. Upstream control. And now, they've also shown a bit of their hand, right? The moment you hear that buck skeleton key downstairs, you need to start communicating as Weibo. Okay, what does this mean for us? Mirror window locations are very scary all of a sudden, because you can get pre-fired from beneath. So now you have a choice to make. Send the defender downstairs and fight for the vertical space beneath the bomb site, or simply just say, don't play in the usual pre-fireable spots. We can see bottom right, second floor, second floor, second floor. No one's fighting downstairs up against Newers. So Weibo are now backed in very specific player positions, trying to avoid the verticality from buck downstairs, but also the Blackbeard pushing laterally upstairs against them. It's a very tough spot to be in if you're Weibo, and they have to be super sharp at where they use the Toxic Bitch from Gotti and that 1C4 from Speakeasy, which is prepped right now in his hand.
It's actually a flip as well from DZ. Kino keeps changing his mind. He was going to push R6 room a moment ago. Nitro Cell for Speakeasy is one of the only tools that they have to deal with Kino. And 2 impacts from Reaps. He doesn't have any other Grismots left in pocket as the drone sneaks onto the bomb site. Speaking of sneaking, look at Turd. He actually has made his way downstairs, eager for a flank onto Newers, who's looking to push main at the moment. DZ continue changing their mind. That's a very early blow of the Nitro Cell from Speakeasy. Yet to find a kill in this game as Reaps is feeling that pressure, but Kino walks into the crossfire as Speakeasy finds one before he's traded on back. DZ are falling, but now J-No-No knows exactly where Reaps is. Doesn't matter, he still wins the fight regardless. DZ get their teeth into the bomb site, but cannot bite down.
Very good job there from Weibo again, almost doing what DC did against them. Again, playing the right locations with a good crossfire so no one swing in, isolated. And this also going back to my previous point, I was surprised about the Blackbeard. Mungie will walk all over that setup because there's no way to die, really. Blackbeard does have that slight vulnerability. The Griswold Mine, the Soul C4, and the crossfire angles is a lot more effective against the shield. That's not the Mungie. And Kino did struggle a little bit. He gets in, but he's in the crossfire like I mentioned before. They get the intel, but not the follow-up. It's going to be a slow and steady grind. But mind you, if you're Weibo, there's more to play for than just the comeback on this map. There is a possibility of a third of Clubhouse. And right now the goal is also just getting settled into the series. Going like down 1-7 on the second map, and now you play Clubhouse, doesn't feel very good. Not a lot of confidence in the mind of the players. If you go, 3 rounds straight here for defense, you lose 7-5, for example, it feels a lot better. Guys, small issues, not a big deal. That clutch, that round takes down with OT, like, you can start almost like gaslighting yourself in a way, but in a positive manner, saying that was a super close game. Because the scoreline easily shows it. It's a lot harder as a player to lose 1-7 and go, I know all the mistakes we did, they were super minor, you shouldn't lose 1-7.
Yeah. Look, if we do get to Clubhouse, it's going to be a very curious one because DZ play a hell of a lot of that map. They played it 8 times in the last 6 months. Weibo on the flip side, they've only played it thrice in the last 6 months. One of which was a 7-0, so not a lot of info from that. One was an 8-6 over VP, very close. DZ also went 7-8 against FaZe on that map. If you push FaZe that close, oh my god, that was a nuke. Bro's got an arm. He threw that from way off the pitch. Faults thankfully doesn't die, but he was probably a bit confused. How did I just take 40 damage?
And Hoven sticking around. Again, you want to min-max how many drones you can find. There's 3 reasons for falling back on an extension. You kill enough drones, you burn enough time, or you get enough kills. You reach any of those criteria, you can fall back happily. Shotgun v not shotgun. Gotti, of course, successful against Newers. Though could be off the board. A huge operator later in this round. And with that kill, you get that checklist. Guys, 5v4, fall back to side. Keep numbers up.
Wow.
Reaps finds another. They're not done fighting just yet.
No, they're not. Still a player all the way on the top floor is Toad as well. DZ have so much work to do, and we still have time delay. For Weibo Gaming, there's a Vulcan canister which can now be popped. A little bit of an unfortunate angle. Reaps has also gone for a flank on the ground floor, and he's not the only roamer as well. Gotti and Turd still remain. NJR and Kino have a mountain to climb. And I don't expect them to be able to take more than the first few steps.
See, this is the issue. When the Monty becomes one of the last attackers alive and not in the entry battle, you're not really able to play around the shield. So General falling early, Nua's falling early, trying to go for the gap finding. It's almost like a contradiction to the playstyle. Of course, you can try and go for both, whatever works. Wow. Kino finds Gotti. Again, he plays the smoke, he plays his shields, he knows what the weaknesses are in that setup. But he has to find a few more than just that. The Nara Laser, Goyo Fire, and the Illa Griswold Mines. He is fighting the whole world and the whole server and dies on using his Heartbreed gadget on that wall.
All up to NJR, 1v4. As most of the players have made their way back to site, Turd still on the very top floor. A little bit of an ill-advised peek from Reaps. You can afford to have one player do that. Do not feed him, 20 seconds. One more flash in pocket. Here comes the vert from Turd and the round for Weibo. It's a second defense back-to-back. 3 more to match DarkZero's scoreboard.
Just gonna see DC get on a aligned game plan here on the attacking side. Are you gonna heavily play the Monty or loosely play the Monty? Because this right here, if Nuance gets the kill, insane value, right? Almost like round defining. But on the flip side, if he dies, it's the same story. It's super high risk with super high reward. But when you got the Monty, it is the most stable, consistent, and safe operator in the game on the attacking side. So it feels a bit like you're trying to do too much there in the server. But DC, when you're leading with 3-4 rounds, whatever in the half, you can afford to try and play a bit risky. See if it works. If you get shot down, now you switch it. The only other issue here is that if Weibo wins this upcoming defense, you get operator bans into the mix. You ban the Monty, all of a sudden that combo changes. Now we're looking at 5-4, still favoring DC, but with the Monty being gone. And yes, they've invested, a ban into the Thorn and the Clash to enable the Blades, the Fuse, the Blackbeard in case of a Monty ban. But still, it is going to make your life just a little bit more challenging and also force you to change your playstyle if you're DarkZero.
It's funny seeing that Gotti has now found the last 2 opening kills in a row, but also has 2 opening deaths to his name as well. Very unusual. Like I said, this guy usually plays on the back line. I wonder if something is changing for Weibo with the roles a little bit, where they're happy to put Gotti in a bit more of an aggressive position, but it's strange to see. It's working sometimes, it's not working other times. There was one game in the tournament so far where Gotti had an unbelievable showing. It was against Furia, their first match of the tournament, 136 EPS. I think he dropped 10+ kills. Very unusual to see Gotti, the man to have that kind of an impact here on the front line for Weibo. But now on the defense, they're tested yet again. It's a different bomb site and a new day of the week for Weibo Gaming. DZ look to try and attack the tertiary bomb site.
Again, all about the Monty. First in the building, guns following after. You get a constant string of information. Kino goes somewhere, you follow him. Now, when you are doing that playstyle, you gotta be very mindful of one thing in particular, the verticality. All this floor beneath them is soft. Having a player or a drone downstairs, just kind of checking in. Is there a C4 downstairs? Is there a person roaming? Well, Speakeasy says, I'm here. Takes down False in the Thermite. They have 2 C4s in pocket, 1 upstairs and 1 beneath. Plus, of course, the Solace. So DC gotta play both floors at the same time.
Oh, Griswold does lead Kino to take a lot of damage. No more in pocket here for Gotti. I think the right move here is to fall back. Peel back the layers of this defense. Weibo still have such a fortified position. And the Monty does leverage an opportunity here for DZ. Time to lash out for Reaps. Good kill onto NJR. Kino still needs to have an impact with that Monty. Needs to enable Newers and Geno to find kills.
What are we doing?
Going for a bait peek. Trying to go for the cheeky little play, but it doesn't work out whatsoever. The duo of Speakeasy and Gotti happy to counter up that shield. It's Newers in a 1v5 as every single round that passes looks better for Weibo on their defense. 2 straight as DZ are yet to find an attacking round in this series at all. It's a 3rd flawless round in this match for Weibo Gaming.
Such good positioning again. Weibo taking the fights in the correct areas. Crossfire downstairs. The verticality being utilized correctly. Kino trying the multi-take, but when down in numbers, not enough guns to support him behind, it's not a favorable fight to take. So DC, a bit of a struggle there in the attacks. I'm curious if we do see that Monty ban, or Weibo deem that it's not actually a big problem for them because they've been great at countering it. On the flip side, what would you ban for the defense? Could be the Goyo, could be Intel, could be Wamai, could be Smoke as well.
DarkZero immediately take their tactical timeout.
Yeah, if they don't bring them out.
All right, Bulker, on master side, push the Jones here. If they're extended out trophy, I want to do that like old school rush that we do, where we open up the fucking exterior breach, and then we, because they're probably going to compare the wall now, and then we go in with the Sens and the Thatcher on that. If they are not extended out, they're consolidated back. Let's take the hard reach, get bond the vertical option of establish pressure on trophy side, and make sure we have redundancy of hard reach for the supply side as well, and then we can either look to go catalyze tank or through supply off that. So it's kind of if or they're extended on that. If sites bunks right here, we're going to look for one of the top cranks, preferably tank side, just due to the fact that we banned the Thorn, or we can look for the site rush, like straight on. And then basement, I don't think they're going to roam like that again. If they do, either hit the Amaru crank or just go straight for site. But in general, I can't really predict what their basement's going to look like. Push the Jones, just call it as you see.
Curve.
Let's go.
Wow. That's the word right there, be mentioned more than once. Crank it. Right?
Crank, bro.
It's the DC/former, SG/former Astralis classic that they love to use. And honestly, I'm all for it. And a big stylistic change here to come up for DC as well.
Bro just uses tactical timeout to call about 5 different rush strats for
It's
different
the options,
sides.
right? This bomb site, this kind of strategy. And what I heard from a lot of that is a lot more dynamic. It almost speaks to like...
the Weibo cracker.
It almost sounds like more like the gap finding meta where we're not going 4 guys behind the Monty looking at one door in front of us. We're gonna fan out, attack a lot of areas of the building. We're gonna bring more hard breach than necessary to apply that destruction pressure as
that
well.
redundancy.
Exactly, redundancy on both sides. And he also kind of called their bluff. If they go basement, I don't think that they're roam like that again.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good read as well, because Weibo have been bringing pocket strats to the equation and to great success in this BO3.
Yeah, but DZ did call, if they do go basement again, we do the Amaru crank. Now, I don't know if you remember, we casted a game in APAC. It was from Daystar,
Yep.
and they had one of the most incredible Amaru strats to rush basement. And you're thinking, wait, there are no windows on basement. How do you rush? Rush through the sky
hallway.
bridge and then into the hallway to rush the guy at the stairs. If we end up seeing basement, I really hope that DZ try and make that play. Perhaps they won't realize that it was also played in APAC.
That's the thing. DC will know NAL quite well, but it's not common to watch every game for every region all the time.
That
because we're
clip did
human.
go gangbusters on Twitter, so
It did actually do
hopefully
numbers.
for call out, they have seen that strat and they will realize Weibo definitely will be aware of it.
Could also be a different crank entirely. We'll have to wait to find out. Hopefully they bring it out though, because I do love me a good Amaru round.
Oh yeah, me too.
Just for the surprise factor. For now though, he mentioned the Sens also. That's being brought out.
Yeah, they were talking about a rush plan on the top floor, but I didn't quite understand exactly where he was thinking of placing these Sens gadgets.
So it's either or, right? If we see the setup that way or this way. And I think for DC right now, we'll almost go back to the core as you see it, because right now you have options. You have frontal attack, you have back portion attack. If the frontal can work, go for it. But I see a Tashanka,
Oh,
I
it's
see a
gonna be
Omai and a
stairs.
Warden. I feel like the frontal attack is going to be incredibly dangerous and quite risky to pull off, unless you find a pick or two. And how can you find them? Newers downstairs. But he's solo checking the flank Jones, solo doing the vert. He isn't being given a ton of resources. So if he's going to be the playmaker, the main man from below, I would like to see DC investing one guy to help him do that job.
Ugh. One way or another, Pengu here, DZ will either find map point or Weibo will finally catch them, tie the scoreboard. Kino goes all the way through the hallway on the top floor. Does he continue lapping up more map control? He's about to meet a few more choke points, and he cannot risk facing some of that Tachanka fire, as it will guard break his shield.
Wall finally opened up as well. Actually, it might have been impact trick denied. I'm not entirely certain, but either way, Box still doing the damage downstairs.
Good nade.
Comes out. Homan just jukes it. He sidesteps it.
He does, but now he's vulnerable to the buck down below as his Azami Keeper barrier has been taken down. Newers will finish him off. Opening kill for the first time on the attacking half for DZ.
Planning is possible. The Sense Wall goes out. Kino can play default, but Tashanka is there.
Oh, the
Fire
Tanker
goes out, doing a lot of damage, and this plan spot might catch them by surprise. They have no
Not
idea.
deep enough. Does he continue firing
Fire
at the
goes out.
Tachanka?
It
Kino
misses.
somehow manages to dodge it. And while Turd has found one, it'll need to be a 4v4 retake here for Weibo Gaming. Speakeasy still has enough fire to kill Kino remotely if he sees him.
Is he
Such
4-2-2?
low HP, the Nitro Cell almost takes him down, missing the gap there, but Folsom, Kino and Newers together find kills. Reaps with 15 to his name, but it ain't enough. And DZ, on the back of that Blackbeard plant, will make themselves in prime position to take the map.
It's again, we're talking a couple of seconds, a couple of centimeters in the server. And if that Shurima fire from Dushanka reached the correct plant location, it's an easy plant denial. But the sense with the Blightbeard, it enables a new plant spot that you don't see very often. Instead of the default wall on the right-hand side, just go all the way left. The Dushanka fire doesn't spread very wide or very far. That's what the smoke does. Dushanka gets a lot more often, but in a smaller area.
And there was a Solus pick, but it wasn't in position to make sure... Oh, wait, no. Am I getting that wrong? Maybe it wasn't a Solus pick. I'm looking at the wrong round.
I was going to say, I don't remember a Solus,
I'm looking at the wrong round.
Okay.
So I'm looking back at the operators that were brought there. There was potential for impacts on Ella and on Goyo, but we didn't see them placed because the impacts could have potentially destroyed the Sen's barrier and...
Yeah.
No, I'm looking at this round. I'm looking at the wrong stats again. Ella and Azami could have brought impacts there to potentially deal with the Sen's walls.
Can also impact deny the breach and then you force them in the door, right? There's options there.
I think they used them earlier to stall out the hard breach. Look, credit to DZ. That was a very good attack and very lucky for them that the Tachanka fire didn't land because in theory, Weibo had the ingredients to deny that plan.
They did. Also, gotta talk about, right, Reeves is 15-6. That first game, you know, performance is definitely bleeding into the second match as well. And
I mean, dude got 15 kills on the first map. Now he's hit 15 on the second. This is 30. What's the best of 3 land kill?
I want to say 55.
I think so. Look,
55.
Unlikely that he breaks it, but you never know.
It is a very, very tall order. Again, the record, is that the best of 5 I'm thinking of? It feels like...
Let me double check. I can double check.
We'll double check.
Give me a second.
I looked at it recently, but BO3, BO5, LAN online, there's a whole different...
I made a new channel in my Discord server called Records.
Yeah, and I sent you the graphics.
Best of 3 is 50 on LAN. KZ and Dan have tied it. And best of 3 online is Citizen and Ambi have tied it.
Okay.
And then best of 5 is Gunner with 63.
Oh, 60. Okay.
But yeah, in a BO350, I mean, he's only 20 away from it. Anything's possible.
Yeah, still, I mean, into OT right here. And all of a sudden win that conversation. But for now, Weibo has to get us there first. Gotti falls back early, like we say, high survival rate. It does mean that when he's an extended player in a roam position, he will often surrender map control maybe 5-10 seconds before people usually would, which does mean a quicker roam clear here for DC. But then there's a second layer. Turtstad's top floor, still very much active on the roam, looking for a backstep later. While they push the front as well, but that's a blitz. Do not want to get near it.
Oh, the impact does a lot of damage on Aquino. He wants to try and bait him in. A lot more damage again.
That's enough, guys. Oh my.
Still hasn't finished. Oh my god, he buys enough time for turn! He sweeps back down the staircase and finds 2 kills. Call out said Weibo would not have the guts to roam for a second round, and he was wrong.
Pays off massively. Turst is still actively, though, looking for more. General finds Big Easy, so all of a sudden, side a bit vulnerable. The roam game is very risky because they can't get back together to that staircase. They're on 2 different sides of the hallway. So Turst is being abandoned almost to play on his own.
He wants to keep
They're also
this.
flanking lobby. This is super risky, guys.
Reeves as well, trying to back up as he decides to fall back to the bomb site. But Gotti finds fault. I don't even know where that happened. Perhaps through the vert is now a flank opportunity as they get active once again. Hoven for 3 in the round. It's J90 in a 1v4. Weibo have found their mojo back again. They just need to finish this round off and then they're touching distance to OT. J90, once known as a clutch god, he has to sprint through that smoke straight into Reeps' waiting arms. 16 kills on the map. 31 in the series as Weibo continue pushing this map deeper.
Bit of a pocket play once again. Catching DC by surprise seems to be the best way for Weibo to win. But doing that on defense is much harder than when you're on the attacking side because they got the drone phase to scout out the bomb site and the general orbital lineup. That gives you intel of the idea from the defenders. So Turst are going undroned, unnoticed, and unwatched on the flank while they distract them here with the impact grenades. It's a great play, but doing that again to get us into OT on a different bomb site, probably unlikely. You saw that from NDR, just a little bit of frustration. The round was looking so good, and that's because there was a thing that they were missing. That thing was Turd. And the hide and the bandit. DZ did the same thing.
Yeah.
You're changing the win con because you're going to sprint to the building, just pop the heart breach on the wall, boom, they get sapped.
There's
and
layers
then you go, okay, we spent one or two Selma charges or can openers, and now we got to go upstairs, do verdict setter. Oh, but that's what the rumors are. Okay, plan B, what's that going to be? And that takes 20 seconds of conversation. So just by bringing the bandit and hiding it, that gives you something.
And they're not scared of the shields. We saw it last round, contesting with impact grenades. Now we have impacts on Reaps, who also, side note, can spot that blitz while he's holding his shield at a distance, as it is an electronic gadget. They've also got 3 nitro shells plus 2 Grishmots in pocket for Turdstone. That is so much ammo to deal tick damage to Kino.
On the other side, though, the line with the blitz, with the glass, backup smokes here on Capital as well. They can do so much damage in the blink of an eye. Wherever they would like to go. For now, it's about establishing a foothold in the building. Lionscan comes out, they're attacking top of a bathroom, like I spoke of earlier.
Last chance to get it done in regulation here for DZ, but they find quickly a first trade and a second kill. All right, hold your horses here. Hang on! C4! Harvin with a double C4 out of nowhere. Weibo Gaming have the advantage all of a sudden, and whatever the plan was to cook up here with the Glaz seems to have been stalled. It seems to have been thwarted. The defuse is being held by Turdster. But DZ have 2 players not too far from each other, ready to try and execute. On to Speakeasy and Turd onto that top floor, testing distance back to back. These 2 Weibo players look to hold on.
An awkward spot, the hatch is soft but not opened up. And Speakeasy has to rotate on over and open it himself, makes a lot of noise, and they get caught just running away from the fight. So I think right now, we're gonna battle it 2 people v2 upstairs and have a backup safety and Hovin playing by the bomb side. But there's so much time. Mid in 30 seconds, DZ can just slowly inch forward, make a bit of sound, force a bit of movement. I think if Turdster and Speakeasy stay absolutely still, they will not know. But NGR, he's heard something.
He's heard something indeed. They need to try and isolate kills one at a time. NJR does so. Turd falls back. He doesn't push for the refrag. He needs to win his 1v1. Full HP for him, but low are both NJR and Newers. He still misses his shots. From the 2v3 now into the 2v1, it comes down to Hovin, who kicked off this round for Weibo with a double C4 kill. Now he needs a double kill to close it.
Mind you, they got the glass team out. They can pop the hatch. They got soft reach from the Ash of Newers. They can force the mobility there. And Hovin doesn't see the drone ability. They have information on him. Yellow ping's coming out. There are no smokes, so glass ineffective with gadgetry, but it's still a good DMR gun.
Should not be won here.
Oh boy.
By Hovin. DZ have every advantage they could possibly ask for, and he doesn't have a safe rotate hole with 1 player from watching above. Newers looks to peek him on the bomb site. 12 kills to his name. Hovin protects himself, but Newers will look to go deep. He finds the first one. DZ, you're feeding the beast. Don't let Hovin clutch up against you. Newers for the map. 12 kills, looking for number 13, but Hovin waits with the MP5K. No plant possibility. Newers needs to go for the kill, but he gets him as Hovin hides away. Slings back into his shell. He brings out the shotgun to no avail, and DarkZero are done pulling their punches. They dig deep on map 2 and send us the distance to Clubhouse.
Heartbreaking into the second map, and to make matters worse, had that shotgun come into action, he had no shells left. Remember, he made it rotate, he spent all 3 bullets, he would have
on. Weibo trying to do something they've never done before, make it to a semi-final here at an international R6 event. 1 map, Clubhouse, will decide both of these teams' fates as the picks and bans show up here.
I think we're going to see a similar story, right? Solid Snake has been abused again and again on those master windows on the top of Clubhouse to get all of the top floor information just from those windows on the other side, removing wall denial. Iconic, so far in the defense, it's quite obvious. Bandit and Kaid, yeah, we've known about it.
I think DZ's 7-4. You heard it here first.
NA bias.
NA bias. I gotta say,
what can I say?
It's refreshing every now and then. I've been in France for 5 weeks. A little bit of NA bias never hurt anybody. Plus, the player's gonna do the most talking here as well. Let's send it over to our map for our casters here to take us to our final map of our first series of the day. Pingu, Dev, take it away.
Thank you very much. And don't worry, because we got some APAC guys right here next to me. James, just tell me a bit more about how much you enjoy watching Weibo, how you love the playstyle, the players, the histories.
We've got the North Americans on the desk, so it only is fitting that I get my chance in the limelight as well.
Balance.
I have to say, though, I think I have to be careful because I'm getting ripped into on Twitter at the moment by Fett and his fans.
You picked the fight you're not winning, buddy, because his army is much bigger than yours.
That's for damn sure. But the only battle that I care about is the one in the server right now, and I'm going to be an APAC shill until the cows come home. Of course, great point there from Rain Day. Weibo have never made it to a semi-final before, but get this, Speakeasy has. 7 years ago, the only time we have ever had an International Rainbow Six event in the APAC region, the Tokoname Pro League Finals, and Speakeasy played for a little old team called Airwolf. They took down the #1 seeded European team, Giants Gaming, which, by the way, Alfama played on that team and was dropped shortly after. Speakeasy won that game.
His career in Europe.
And then played a semi-final. Do you know who that semi-final was against?
DC?
It was against DarkZero. And of course, Speakeasy did lose that game, and DC went on to struggle in the grand final and lose to Navi, Citizens team at the time. Crazy history, of course, between these two teams. A lot of the players have been around the block more than a few times. Faults, I mean, he's won a 6 Invitational, for goodness sake. And all these 5 boys on DZ have won a major as they look to try and continue that momentum here in Paris for the Esports World Cup. Turdster falls off his roam completely.
Shows why this army can be such a crucial operator to help the rotations fall back towards the bomber side right there. Double keeper off the pool table double door and can drop down the hatch nice and comfortable. This DC with some early aggression, taking good bit of map control on top floor, cleaning out the mute jammers and what was the Romans at a gym. That was Thursday who's dropping down. And when you get top floor control, you kind of get the area beneath it very quickly after, because the verticality works in your favor now. So Weibo Gaming have made the call. Guys, let's mostly fall back towards the bomb side, with one exception really. Reeves is hiding in stockroom, also with the hatch open for a fallback. And so far he's gone undroned and unnoticed. And if they don't go and check him, that could be a flank. The only weakness here for Reeves, SMG-11, long distance gunfight, not where you're typically favored.
Dropping down on the back of the smoke, but Faults, of course, is about to meet Gotti. The Warden has an advantage as he can peer through that smoke
Reeps
as
flanking.
well. But this is a big play here from Genino. Meanwhile, Reeps is going for a flank, but Genino is the playmaker. He's in prime position to take down Gotti from behind. DZ have snuck through. They found 2 players. And with that, the round should surely be theirs, unless we see a big flank from Reeps. He'll take down NJR, look for a little bit more against Faults in a brief moment, surely, as Hoven's gone big as well! Faults!
What's happening?
How has he just team killed Newers? It was the gas pipe that took him down, and now he's the last one remaining. A 1v3 quickly becomes a 1v2. Steal your nerve, Faults. It's just 2 more to find, and you've got plenty of time left on the clock to do it. Hoven and Turd separated. Turd all the way upstairs in kitchen. And I think Weibo know that defuse is down at short in the hallway. Faults doesn't have it, and they've got the cross onto his position. It's a Weibo bounce back from the 3v5.
It feels so similar to the first and the second map, where it comes down to just a couple of crucial gunfights, a couple of good timings in the server. And what happened, we saw Genino start off in a fiery fashion, gets in blue, creates the gap, right now getting 2 quick kills. What we didn't see on screen was Reeps in the meantime flanked from stock into bar, and then had to drop the bar hatch and catch the guy with diffuser in short on bottom main. So there are 2 battles happening at once, but the real MVP, whoever shot open all the Goyo canisters there from the defense, because they were just isolating players. And I am Nicholas Mortensen, but you know me as Bingo. And that is a bald version of myself, which I am succumbing to quicker and quicker day by day.
That's my favorite cosplay I've seen in quite some time.
He showed me the sign, he said, but there's more to it. And I guess the bald head is the more to it.
I love that.
Great job, Extreme, by the way. Shout out to you.
Same fellow who brought us flowers, the Paris Grand Final.
Yeah, he was there at SI.
Legend. Love
this
to see
man.
that.
Love when the fans, they show up.
You know what I love? I love when we have close rounds. I mean, obviously, I want to see APAC make it, but I also want to see DZ playing well when that happens, right? Like, if Weibo are to win this game, I don't want to see one team that's favored, the David and Goliath matchup. I don't want to see Goliath just roll over and let David have it. I want it to be a contest. I want it to be a battle. I want to see a match deserving of a result. Even, you know, you look at what happened in Salt Lake City. Enterprise, for the first time, made it to a quarterfinal, the first time that APAC's done that in quite some time. But who do they beat to get there? They beat Weibo. They beat another APAC team.
It's not a deserving way to, so to speak.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different. Weibo beat Virtus.pro to get here. VP have been such a prolific European team ever since their roster reboot. And if Weibo were to take down the major champs, that'd be a whole nother kettle of fish, especially if DZ are in form. And look, DZ are looking good. Their attacks left a lot to be desired on Nighthaven Labs, but now we're into Clubhouse. It's a whole different ballgame.
It's similar as well in there, right? It's been the attacking side that's been problematic for DC across the board. But look at this, another gap finding round. Barbara makes a sound cue, pre-fire goes out. If that thermal charge was a second later, they might have masked the sound, but it didn't, and Gotcha gets 2 kills because of it.
They're going for Broad and a third one! South Korean player is showing that he can bounce back after a slow start. Going up from the stairs, Newers runs straight through that barbed wire. I think the read has come through from Weibo, though. They know where he is, and the order continues to ring on out. It's Newers up against the world. He was team killed last round. He will go down last this time. Flawless for Weibo. That's 4 flawless rounds for them in the series.
You say you don't want Goliath to roll over, or you kick him down from where he's standing, because that right there is Weibo striking back in the server. Another round in a row where DZ trying to just create the gap. I'm expecting to be disciplined. Step 1, step 2, breach, and then go catwalk and clear the rafters and go breach again and then go for a plant. And I think they were expecting Weibo to have the same thought. But instead, they're doing the, we're gonna catch you by surprise. And I think the play was good. Exothermic charge on the external breach, and you walk up the staircase. But there was about a 1 second desync. Because the exothermic charge, it went off, the sound is gone, but you still heard the barbed wire rattling on the staircase. So we're talking 1 second, maybe 2 seconds of difference, and that's Gotchi hearing the guy pushing the staircase or not hearing the guy pushing the staircase. And Gotchi got 3 kills.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I wouldn't sweat too much for DZ as of yet. As soon as Weibo got their flawless rounds on defense on Lair, DZ won the next round. They've also shown that they're very good at taking their tactical timeouts and converting them. Callout has a lot of insight for the team, especially when, you know, we talked about this before, you know, in the first map, he used the halftime break to talk about what would happen in overtime. I think when Callout took the tactical timeout in round 9 on Lair, which was right after they got flawless, went back and immediately won the next attack round. Because he could sit there and call exactly what's going to happen. That's fresh in the players' minds and immediately relevant to the round at hand. So if Weibo win this round, right, we get 1 more operator ban per side, and I think then Callout takes the tactical timeout. And I think if that happens, DZ will bounce back.
Let's see it. For now, we're freezing open the walls. Just stalling for about 12 seconds each canister. You get 3 of them. And there's not a lot you can do right now if you're DC, but you just simply wait. The con wall, the single one, will get popped immediately though. No response there from Tubrow. He's playing inside a cash room. But NGR, he's just a patient man. He's waiting, and they're going to play on the server rappel, cutting off any possibility of a peek or retake in towards that area. But with this secondary level of hard breach into the inside wall of cash, it could be that DC wants to attack it. But looking at the player locations on the roof, going towards the Kusi, I don't think they're fully locked in what the attack's going to be. They could fight for the roam clear with Kino joining, but they also could hit the side if they find a gap. NGR, he finds Reaps.
However, Speakeasy immediately replies, Newers is having a terrible game so far. Good gap found, though, by Faults. Surely Weibo will have to peel back now. The bomb side is getting weaker and weaker. It's just Gotti and Speakeasy alive. Hoven is the sole player on the red stairs, but I think they don't realize it. Surely they'll be able to find the kill. The Blackbeard somehow manages to 5, but no. Hoven will find 1 regardless. Meanwhile, his teammates have fallen on the bomb site. He's the last one standing. Faults will go for the plant. No impact in pocket, but still he finds the shots onto the toes of Kino. 1v2. This is how the second map ended. Hoven failed to win his 1v2, and they've completely abandoned this. They can play it vertically. Hoven is low HP. Does he just jump on that kid, I wonder?
Tough defuse spot. Has the yellow ping, but it's fake information. They're not impossible. Still there. It's a great plant spot, by the way.
Yeah, I just don't see this as being possible to get the retake on. He's going to be completely exposed to the hatch while he goes for the counter defuse, and he can be swung from multiple different angles. Spots the first one, but NJR will take him down. It's 2-1 before we get the next set of operator bans. DZ look to recompose as they pounce on the gap on the bomb side.
I love how they attacked that. That was a lot better. There's a frontal attack and the bomb side pressure, and where were they going to find the kills? That's the attack they go for. And it landed somewhere in the middle because they got a kill on the roam and a kill by the side. Hovin could have had a great double there, but it doesn't matter because DC, they conquered the bomb side control rather, and that's all they need to go for a plant. Hovin stuck on the wrong side of the building. Can't quite get back in time. Also, of course, no surprise here, Bandit Kite in the first rotation, Mira in the second with the third operator ban. Just all about the wall denial.
Yeah.
Just guaranteed to break them and don't get stuck. I mean, you still 2-brow freeze them, but it's not going to stop you from winning. Just
barely slow it down. And realistically here, the way that DC are playing, hard breach is the first consideration.
Yeah.
We heard Call Out talk about redundancy. They brought 3 hard breaches. You got Thermite with 3 exothermics, you've got Ace with 3 Selmas, and then you have Zafir with the tin can openers. You're getting a lot of that as well. It's just opening up every possible avenue for DZ, which means at the drop of the hat, as soon as they find a kill, as soon as they see a gap, as soon as they count, hang on, there are only 2 players on the bomb site, 1 over here, we can 3v2 this guy, they send it. And that's exactly what won them that last round. Because they did win that, there's no tactical timeout call. Because realistically, you win 2 attacks here for DZ, that should be enough. I think you still gun for 3, but with how defensive favored this series has been, I would say that 2 attacks looks pretty good for DZ.
double shield here from DarkZero.
Unusual.
Could be a matter of having the ability to push dirt with a shield, but also have a shield elsewhere, either for roam control or dropping the hatch for a plant, because, you know, Monty, you're safe, you're planter, you're drone information kind of operator. Blackbeard, frag grenades, AR, go for fights, close the gap. It does give you a spearhead with 2 tips, right? A double stab, if you will. But first you gotta get into that exact position. Not a ton of roam presence though from Weibo. I mean, look at the bottom right, you see B basement, B basement. They're just not really upstairs. A single player Thursday in garage on first floor, but that's it. So once they join out all the 7, they realize, guys, there is no roamers. This map is fully ours. I love the Kino just making it very safe here, destroying the gas pipe despite the fact that there's no real threat. You never know what can happen later in a round.
Yeah. I mean, remember that Newer's got team kill with a gas pipe?
It can happen. It's still a relatively new feature, only about a year and some old.
Yeah. Especially if you combine it with an impact or a nitro cell.
Yeah. No reason to take that risk.
DZ is so quick here.
Yeah, I mean, 1 minute 40 seconds, they've breached pretty much everything that they need. Just missing a little bit of self-destruction in kitchen probably, but then they have all the tools that they want. And they got the Monty. Again, this could be a very different one where they play for a plant-oriented push rather than playing for kills. Yeah. And as I said, because they got 2 shields, they got 2 different areas they can push.
It's just so effective and so efficient. Like DZ, so quick. I was speaking to a team that was boot camping and scrimming DZ in the lead up to this tournament. They said, these guys are so good, you literally cannot get more than 1 round off of them in a 12-round scrim. That is how well, efficiently oiled they are. And we're seeing that here on Clubhouse, a map which is just the staple of Siege. It's all about hard breach, it's all about execute, it's all about roaming. It's got so many different flavors of Siege rolled into one map. DZ struggled in the first 2 rounds. Now they're looking a lot more organized, but still in the 5v5, we don't have an answer to what's going to happen. Oh, a lot of damage on Aquino as the first shield drops down. I think it is a bait. Both shields are down in there. As Fall starts to take damage, he looks for a safe plant spot. The coverage is good from NJR. Will Weibo look for a way to deny this plant? It's 2 shields covering each other to guarantee that that plant will go down as Weibo forcing the 5v5 retake. Kino looks to try and lash out with the Blackbeard. No nitro cells or impact grenades remaining for Weibo, which makes it such a devilish task here to try and retake, and Folds has got an active. The double shield strat seems to be working out as both of them eventually will fall. Now it comes down to Weibo retaking up above into the 2v2 as News holds down 1. It's all up to Gotti in the 1 versus 2. With both players upstairs, J90 all the way outside now. Gotti does not have the time, and Newers will find the kill from the Vert. It is picture perfect from DZ. The double shield strat works like a charm.
I love how they double down on the protection right there. So when Monty goes to plant with his shield in his back, his heels and ankles and feet are still exposed. So therefore the Blackbeard dropped with him and blocks that final bit of area that could be vulnerable. While they're doing so, they're spamming the Yinkadelas, that a couple of smoke grenades go off, chaos in the server. And the reason why I do that is because the player on AKs could just shoot the toes if you don't get blinded, and that's a way to just instantly lose the round. So it's a full commitment, rush of a push, after going for the roam clear, works out perfectly, and there was no intel there from the defense of Weibo of where and when that plant was going down. So the Toxic Babes were in pocket. They weren't even being tossed like now. They had no real information on what was going on. They barely broke the back B softball. It was completely intact. They were not ready for that one, that's for sure.
Yeah, I love that. DZ are coming in with pocket strats, they're cooking, they're ready with this prep, and they're keen to just go for it if they see a gap. But what will Weibo do to adapt? Because that's the name of the game now. As soon as your opponents are doing something different, something you haven't seen before, you have to adapt. Well, Intel and Plant Denial, and we've got both of them in the Echo pick here from Speakeasy.
We do. My only worry about Clubhouse in general, you know, when we saw the map video before the game even started, is there are... When you play Clubhouse, a lot of the rounds come down to the micro, the teeny tiny details, right? When you play Carol Grafters like Turst is right now, can he trade himself for 1-for-1 kill? On basement, do you know the planet is going down? Do you have a smoke or C4 on the location to go for denial? It's not as much about playmaking and really upsetting your opponent.
Hello!
And I think that's just a favorite DarkZero because Weibo, how they were coming back on Lair was, again, disruptive gameplay patterns and playing for the early game. Much more challenging here on Clubhouse. The way they won the first map on Night Haven Labs was about setting up problems that were a little bit unfamiliar to DarkZero, which again on Clubhouse, a lot more difficult. The map's been on for ages.
Oh, good. I like the strat here from NJR. He's using the ace to breach open the catwalk walls. Weibo are prolific at holding on to rafters. Turd is a phenomenal rafters player, but Reach has gone down early. He's one of the deadliest players for Weibo. 31 kills across the first 2 maps, but not looking to break a kill record if he doesn't wake up here on Clubhouse. Does mean that Turdster is all alone holding on to rafters. Actually, I think Gossi might be playing in there as well.
Downstairs in lounge, I believe, right now. But yeah, so right now, Weibo, they know that Tursta is stuck on rafters. DC know this too. So they get opening pick, plus Tursta can't move. It's effectively a 4 versus 3, because one sole attacker can lock him in spot. That's NGR on the main breach right now. Meanwhile, they're clearing master bedroom, connector, office, and they're applying all this bit of pressure. And they've shown us now that they have flipped the attack. They're gonna go for backside take. Hobbin swings out and punished by full souls on that single wall, just walking on in.
This is starting to look very scary if you're Weibo. DZ have come into form in the last 3 rounds. And I frankly don't see a way that Weibo win it from here. They try and lash out, but DZ are ready for it with over a minute left on the clock. DZ, they can execute in a 5v5 last round. I have no doubts they'll be able to execute in a 5v2. And they decide to go deep instead of playing for plant. Kino, though, takes a lot of damage. He will go down. Be careful here, DZ. Don't let this fall back. And Turst has also lashed out and found one as well. He's now left all alone as the plan starts to be confirmed. He doesn't have a way to deny it from his position, and he's being watched from 2 angles. J90 from outside the window will cut him down. Surely Weibo need to take their tactical timeout now. DZ, 3 in a row. They lead by 1 round as we have 1 remaining in the half.
You see the problem, right? Weibo, they feel the need and they have the urge to make a play and do a disruptive play because they feel like if DC get to the bomb site with 5 attackers alive, they can win.
It's true. You can't let DZ execute in a 5v5.
But it's Clubhouse. There are so few areas where you have even a 50% chance of working out. And 50-50 is what we say an equal play. Everyone's game for that. But almost every single fight that Weibo are choosing to take is like 30%, 25% in their favor, and so much more against them. So it's like either from the very beginning of the round, and this is what I like to see, Mossy, Scopus, Solus, this is a fighting lineup. And this is exactly what I was going to talk about. If you from the beginning of the round say, we are going to fight, you're all committed, you're all understanding of what the game plan is going to be. This is so much better than picking plant denial, play by the bomb site, and then realize, oh, we lost that breach. Oh, they killed that player. Oh, we can't play in that corner. Oh, they have Monty. Now we swing in bad positions. So this is a big switch up for the final round, and the fact that the players came to this conclusion without the tag timeout from Gohan, I think it speaks volumes. That they're willing to make this adaptation, which can be seen as highly risky.
Yeah. And of course, after this round, we'll get the half-time timeout as we swap sides.
Yep.
Which means Gohan will be able to talk to the boys. But a 4-2 split, I mean, that is pretty much game.
They need the 3-3.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not the end of the world, because I do think this map can lead attacker favorite in the current meta. But just
DZ
for the...
have been really bad on attack in this series, frankly, up until Clubhouse.
That's why it matters so much. Haven't hurt the player and drones outside the door, has to respect it. Falling back options, dangerous. Main staircase window, watch them outside. Blue stairs window, same story. Hoven can go super deep as a Scopos player and always TP back to a safe location. The other teammates like Gotchi and the Mossy, different story for them. Reeps finds Lewis, it's line removed from the action. That's huge because now you can move around a lot more freely on the map. Hoven now lost the shell, by the way, and is inside a gym. So there's no TP back towards the bomb site. I think they're just counting on staying around for as long as possible, and then that makes the bomb site a lot weaker, which is why Fulls with the diffuser is looking for the site.
Oh, I have to pop the Goyos here. Wow, Speakeasy somehow manages to find the shots in the feet through the wall. He knows the diffuser is down. He now needs to make sure he doesn't get overwhelmed on the bomb side. Takes out a second player, big from Speakeasy. A third one! For the Singaporean, it's Kino up against 5 now on the Monty as Weibo look to restabilize after what has been a very troublesome last 3 rounds. They find another flawless, and a glimmer of hope sparks on the horizon for APAC.
Oh man. So guess what now? Now we shall listen in.
Time for D. D time.
Remember
For whatever reason, Bulker, this does go to overtime. They're prepping on that same roam back. That's exactly what we were prepping on.
Yeah, I know.
Against that next time.
Yeah,
You'll just
I know.
hammer them on that. Because they're going to start floating around him. And if they do more of the consolidation, obviously you can call more so on the fly off that.
Okay.
You were right, you know, that was actually like literally the initial was Thermite the wall open, ace the wall immediately, they have nothing to stop it. And then we float around the map and spread on them. So it was a teeter, but it could also be a tally because you forgot. Teeter because you remember.
Fair enough.
Teeter on a tally because you forgot type of deal.
Teeter on a tally. Fair enough. I'll take it. I'll take it. Took well.
Oh my god.
Fouls. 80 done prep. There ain't nothing to say.
Yeah, we got all
Book's
the
already been
fucking prep
closed.
in the world, bro.
So,
Book's
where
been
we
open and
first?
closed.
on top head, okay? Positions on church, shield, a lot of stuff for church. We can bring Thatcher, counter everything. So the thing is, you need to remember from basement. We're gonna have the map control, we're gonna have the sense walls, you're gonna push your shield on dirt. So the thing is, always try to push your shield in a way that you don't gonna die dropping hatch, you don't gonna die for easy pre-placed C4s. Okay, this is the main goal of this attack. So we're gonna improve a lot compared to last times we played. But yeah guys, we have the best map in front. Club, attack, you guys.
Wow. So a little bit more context this time. We heard that Carl mentioned overtime, so you and I were confused on the previous maps. Like, he's talking about defense, but they're going into the attack. What's that about? Fett, coach streamer, also tagged us through to
Shout out Fett. Shout out Fett's viewers in my DMs.
That Colin has this tendency to talk about what happens when they go back to that same side in OT to fix the problems of the past, because he knows that the players have the solutions for the present. And we heard there, DC stopped talking about strats. They're like, guys, book's open, now it's closed.
They literally said, I don't have anything to talk about. What about you?
They are so prepared going into this, and the players have so much self-control in the server where Colin only has to step in as an absolute emergency. Whereas the thing for Weibo, if Gohan had 3 tag timeouts, he might actually spend all 3 just to get more involved.
Totally. I think in particular there's a lot more to say on your attacking side than on your defensive side, because your defense, you are the one that they've got the paper. They're booklets, right? That say you put your gadget here, you might have some last minute adaptations or say play strat A instead of strat B. But for Weibo here, it's about making sure they know the setups from DZ. They're countering the setups. The Thatcher was mentioned by Gohan. Hibana ban, interesting.
The shield was also mentioned, not Monty in particular in itself, but just like the shield plant.
Yeah, I mean, now, Speakeasy will play one shield or another depending on what gets banned.
But it's so much more challenging without the Monty, and that's always going to be my go back to. DC are such a great shield team, and you said it so well on Lair. We see how quickly Newers with a TCSG can shred Speakeasy when he's not crouching, protecting his toes. So it really comes down to Speakeasy playing a more sheltered version of the shield. When he plays in APL, you know, you're playing 60 ping, playing against weaker aimers, arguably. Now you're in LAN. 0 ping, perfect hit drag against some of the greatest fraggers in the world. You die immediately before you realize what's going wrong. So a lot of attention right now, I think, on pressure on the strategical elements relies on Speakeasy's positioning as a shield. On the other side, for DC, we just gotta see Kino not pop up with defense. He's been playing a lot of shields on the attacking side. He was last alive a few moments in a 1v3, unwinnable spots. So his scoreline being 0-5, not really a true stat line, but he now has a chance on the side swap to change that that story for himself. There was a fear from Alpha on the desk about what happens if Reaps the carry stops fragging out like a madman. And this is the thing about Weibo Gaming when they play at the highest level. They can take turns. Hoven is at a big clubhouse. Big Easy had a huge round there in basement for the final and a half. Turdstab can pop off. He's at a quiet moment. He's now on Solid Snake. That's gone unbanned. He's going to feel super comfortable on a particular operator, getting a ton of intel.
Yeah, a lot of intel for the roam clear and perhaps for an eventual execute. The problem I see here for Weibo is going to be DZ with their hard setups on the bomb site with Wamai, with the Goyo, and the Azami. This is a slew of util that is extremely difficult to counter. And if DZ can burn enough time at the start of the round, and if Weibo are inefficient with their roam clear, then they're going to run out of time to go for an execute.
Also, no Thatcher, which they did speak about. But of course, that can happen in a later basement attack as well. Don't show it all in the first round.
He also said be careful of pre-placed C4s, two possible
keep the shields alive. We're playing for the late round. The thing is, without the Thatcher and the Bandit on the board, that was, Church is no longer attackable, I don't think, with this lineup.
Yeah, this is very slow.
So what we're looking at, Dirt Tunnel Kitchen attacks, something that DC has seen a billion times before. They got C4, they got Toxic Babes, they got the Walmaya Sami set up, the Goyo canisters.
Oh, are they going to impact trick the hatch?
This feels a little bit like Weibo are playing into DC's defense, and I mean that in a negative way. Like they're countering themselves, but not having necessarily the correct read. And I think a lot of this will come down to the opening pick, if they can find it.
Yeah, I'm wondering the same. Look, this is going to be... all the ingredients here say that DZ should be favored in the round, unless if Weibo can pull off something miraculous. I don't think the kitchen hatch has successfully opened yet, and the impact trick unsuccessful here. So credit to Weibo, they managed to make that work. Now, the plan was to go for a dirt push. We have to use the final piece of hard breach utility to open up dirt for Speakeasy to make his way forward. However, NJR still has an impact grenade to try and battle with that black beard.
I don't like that Speakeasy is solo here because the kitchen hatch is open. DC know that. That means they cannot fall back unless an Asami Keeper barrier is positioned to enable his safety. And there's a Goyo fire on the ground. So this is going to stall for 20 seconds. There we go. That's 20 seconds. Now we're talking 29 left on the clock. If there's a second canister, Dirt Tunnel is off hands here for Weibo Gaming. And while they're waiting, they're not progressing. They're in kitchen hatch, they're on the main staircase. Everyone is waiting with no progress. That applies more and more pressure as those seconds are slipping away.
And DZ are pre-smoking the default plant. They now have one gas babe left. Might be burned a little bit too early. That nade might actually destroy some of the sensors. There needs to be a backstab here for Weibo. It's the only way they win this round, but Hoven has somehow managed to go all the way up long and find a kill. It's now up to Turd to come in from the backstab. Newers does retain control. It's now up to Gotti as Turd finds a double from Blue. DZ now needs to deny that plan. It's all up to Reeves, making his way down the stairs, but NJR will recompose for DarkZero. A little bit sketchy, but they find it nonetheless.
Such well-played moment there from NJR. I'm not sure you caught it. He was sitting beneath the hatch, looking at the plant there for 5 full seconds, then one taps it, then ensures a second kill follow-up as well. He said, guys, I got this on the back, do not worry about it. But Hoven found the opening, like I said, down the main staircase, in through long, takes a player inside a church double door, but then thankfully traded back by Newers on DC, who was playing that Moto position, closing the gap that was once created.
Basement's going to be a very different bomb site, though, to these other two.
By far the most different.
Taken by DZ. On the basement, for DZ, you can just have 5 on site with an impeccable setup, especially with these bands, right? With the Wamai and the Bandit in play.
But the other bomb sites, you got to fight for the extension. Here in CCTV, you got to fight for catwalk and or master bedroom, or hold a stronghold downstairs when Newers is currently reinforcing, because you cannot just play 5 guys on side. There's not enough playable positions for that to be possible. But also something that I feel like might be happening if this goes the distance as well, the bar bomb site. We saw DC be out kitchen on laps twice.
Oh man, I would love to see a bar bomb site choice from DZ in overtime.
It's always going to be a bit of a risk factor, but DC, they have been the strongest version of themselves in this BO3 when they've been doing something unusual against Weibo.
I can say that for both sides.
Yeah, I think argument goes both sides for sure.
I mean, we've cast enough of Speakeasy in the APAC region to see him push dirt 100 times on the Blackbeard.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to, but he got denied.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem.
that often you'll end up going, you know, dirt early in the round. You fight for dirt control, you leave one player there because they can't reach it because the kitchenheads get your line of sight. They went dirt last up against the Goyo, and it's like, okay, that's just not gonna work.
A little too late.
But the plan B flip, I think, for Weibo was a solid attempt of a round. It wasn't that, oh my god, they're panicking, they're stressed. It's like, okay, they're gonna full send it in APAC fashion, and they actually got close.
Potentially 3 rounds from a semi-final. DarkZero lock in on Cash and CCTV for this next round. How do Weibo look to clear it? It seems to be a Rafters intention here. There's a lot of util to go Rafters. I think particularly the Blackbeard and the Dokkaebi will be very useful. They're dealing as much damage and flushing out that position as much as possible. But DZ are sitting back and relaxing with that Wamai in play, with the Azami to support, even the Aruni with its deadly DMR. DZ should be able to hold their positions comfortably.
They should. C4 goes out, doesn't find much there from Kino, even just one left for NJR. Again, opening pick is so vital here on Clubhouse because it's all about watching as many gaps as possible. One defender dying early will leave something else exposed. Florzone goes to deny the bandit tricking, but NJR gets right back on it. There's not an attacker downstairs to deny the angle vertically because that's what Newers was playing earlier, reinforcing those walls. Right now it's Foltz downstairs instead.
He's all out.
They're protecting NJR for as long as humanly possible.
A lot of damage dealt though, thanks to the Dokkaebi. Now he's forced to move. But Weibo aren't able to capitalize on a kill just yet. He's standing up on top of the desk. He would be exposed to the breach, but Weibo are not playing that breach aggressively. In fact, they haven't even opened it up. This is a very strange attack here from Weibo. To fail to open up the CCTV breach seems like a very costly mistake.
There could be a bait there. Forces downstairs right beneath the breach with a shotgun in hand on the Thorn. Planting default is not going to be a possibility, and I don't know if Weibo know this just yet.
Weibo are not doing enough of the normal checklist items on this bomb site. You need to have CCTV open. Otherwise, it is simply impossible, especially as you say, if they don't have control down below the bomb site. We need a level of spice out of Weibo here, but I'm not seeing it as of yet. Reaps needs to go big. He tries to make an entry. It's Turd who finds one. Reaps will get his first, but immediately NJR is there to find a 3K. Turd will trade back, but he is now the last one standing. And the plant will be denied from below if he tries to go for it. He won't get the chance. Newers never shut out of his position as Weibo cannot breach step 1.
One small issue. Actually, first I think I'll get a tag timeout here from Go. I'm just waiting for the confirmation call. I saw the mic being flipped down.
Surely.
I don't want to get into a long point and to cut myself off. Yes, Weibo Gaming calling their tactical timeout.
Leave this fucking shield, bro. You're playing too scared with this shield. Not opening space, being the last one to push, bro. If you're gonna pick the shield, is to put pressure, is to play fast, is to open space.
Okay.
I told you guys, look, they play very spread on the map, they give big areas, but you are playing full safe with the shield, bro. Who's the shield are a fucking drone, you know?
So if they go gym, you want me to use shield or we just clear or go?
No, the thing is, bro, check the comp. Bandit, Wamai, bro, we need to bring the Thatcher to solve the problem, break the bunker.
Okay.
We need to break the gadgets so we can throw grenades, we can make the space, you know? It's all about that, guys. Come on, we can do it.
Let's go.
5-3 is easy to us, we can take this game. Come on, guys, come on. We are the best. Remember, guys, the pressure is on them, it's not on us. Remember this, okay?
Gohan with so much conviction saying exactly the same thing he said at the start of the half as well, which is we need to break the bunker with the Thatcher, and you said it at the start of the half. We didn't see it once from Weibo.
No, we did not. And to make matters worse, the Thatcher does simplify the problem. The solution for Weibo was right there the entire time. Those bandit batteries on the CCTV wall can be shot through the soft wall from connector, from the door, with a couple of bullets, from the breach, couple of bullets, but they never did it. And they did have one spare exothermic charge from Thermite when the round ended.
Would have been a very different round if that breach had been open.
Two different defenders, Newers playing by Servorak, and I think it was Kino Bandit sticking by the corner, or whoever it was, NJR actually, they wouldn't be able to live anymore, right? They'd be like rotate to a different location at least, right? And that bandit battery is a 100% deniable with any weaponry, but nobody made that connection that, okay, now we got the breach, let's go for a plan. But say, okay, what about getting every breach? What about getting all the angles? That never happened.
I think Weibo were also focusing so much on some vague win conditions, but not seeing opportunities to get kills. For example, the player on the defense, I believe it was NJR, on the bandit, who kept dashing around. He was in a very vulnerable position. If Weibo had the foresight and the utility to say, let's target this guy with a grenade, not just with Roteros to get rid of the batches, but let's target the player. We might actually be able to capitalize, get a kill, numbers advantage, and then you can spiral around, even if you don't have superior positioning or breaching, if you have numbers advantage. And the banning continues to be a problem here for Weibo Gaming. I think they have to ban it now. If they're struggling so much to counter it, they're going to need to ban it after this next round.
The issue is, right, because Dodge is playing Thatcher, he went away from Thermite. They have a single can opener in pocket for the entirety of this round, James. They have, that's it. That's the only hard breach they have. A single point of contact. Mind you, this top four, CC wall, con wall, Jacuzzi wall, and single con.
It's the opposite to what DZ
four
do.
areas you want to breach.
Yeah, I mean, DZ are bringing 3 hard breach operators on Clubhouse most of the time. They're bringing Ace, Thermite, and the Zofia. It's very unusual that Weibo are doing the absolute opposite.
The issue is now the Thatch becomes not ineffective because it still deals with certain gadgetry, but look at this round. What can you catch? A single C4 or a Toxic Babe midair? Actually, sorry, 2 C4s.
And some proxy
There's
alarms.
no bunker down the same way.
Yeah.
So now you gotta work without the breaches with a Thatcher that's arguably a little bit ineffective and no way forward. It's gotta come down to an APAC round. You gotta go frag hunting.
Yeah, and I have to wonder, what's the point in bringing the Lion when DZ are, for the most part, playing in power positions rather than roaming? Now, we are seeing a bit of aggression from Faults in Garage, but Weibo unable to convert it into a kill. Missed opportunity. Reaps goes for a back set. He needs to have a massive moment here, but NJR is watching from a prone angle. This is a very off-piste position here from NJR, and he will not find Reaps. He lands the first bullet, but Reaps, quick reaction times, finds the first kill. This could unsettle DZ.
Where'd you look?
Kino, where are you looking? He goes down. Reaps has single-handedly brought this round back for Weibo, but DZ recompose a flashbang on the J90 as Reaps will finally go down. Faults in a 1v1.
Gotti.
He's had the quad this round. It's Gotti, and he does clutch it for Weibo to prevent the match point opportunity from DZ. The young and new blood player from Weibo will give them a chance on Clubhouse.
Oh boy, I want to go and say, don't hide behind the shields, don't be afraid, take the fight to DC. No breaching, no problem. They get the job done regardless. Operator bands are going through. Will it be that bandit like you said, James?
Come on, gotta do it.
Yes, it will be. Breaching easier. Thermite band in response. It's all about the walls. It's all about step 1 here on Clubhouse.
You can bring Ace though. I think we need to ditch the Lion. We need to get more Ace. I don't know if this Lion is helpful.
I think the Lion was instrumental for this specific round. The timing of Reaps walking up with it meant that Kino couldn't go for a trade immediately in bathroom, so it gets that timing inside a logic connector. But generally speaking, outside of those chaotic moments, the Lion is hard to get value out of.
Yeah.
For a usual round of Clubhouse.
I'm just looking at a comp that, like, what space do you have to bring more hard breaches?
But this is the difficulty, right? When you're up against a lot of the DC's bringing, wall denial, bunker down, time denial, you are stretching the attack so thin. Because either you'll have a bit of solutions for everything, but not one clear plan of action, or you'll go into like, this is how we do it. But if they bring a certain defender or a certain attacker dies early to a gunfight, you lose the round.
This round right here is where Weibo need to be bringing that Thatcher and a lot of grenades.
Not gonna do that.
And they're not gonna do it. I mean, we're talking about trying to counter the Clash, we're talking about trying to counter the Wamai, the Warden, particularly the Goyo and the Azami, which are both vulnerable to grenades. But we don't have the Thatcher to counter the Wamai.
What would this be? So, okay, just like while the round is early, right, because it's a bunker down here for DC, no action should be happening, we'll see. What would you replace? Because going through it, the way that you get into the bomb site, the way you plan with cover, that's what Glass is doing, right?
I don't think we need to bring Deimos and Snake. These are, for the most part,
roam clear.
They're roam clearing up. We're not roaming.
So we're getting rid of one of the two at least.
Yeah.
You get onto the Thatcher, now you get a bit wider in the bigger picture.
I'd get Capitao instead of Grim, to be honest. Capitao can flush out the AK's position. It's also a better Clash counter. I mean, it's easy because we see the comp. I don't know if Weibo did enough advanced droning in prep phase to see the exact comp.
You've lost a lot of drones, so I hope they saw a lot. But yeah, the big issue here to start things off is going to be Faults with the Clash and main staircase. Kino with Warden C4 to support him. What teams often do is the Clash kind of try and start a fight, slow the attackers down with sapping them, and a C4 from downstairs to try and get a kill. If DC finds any kill that goes untraded, that is the strat working out to perfection. That's what they're aiming for with the setup.
Atra could win a freebie here onto Hoven. Kino is allowed to play so aggressively here, looking for his first kill of the game still, but yeah, he is forced back, targeted by the Deimos. Now the worry is the pre-placed C4s if you're Weibo. J90 and Kino both have chances to try and land shots with them.
Okay, so step 1 is cleared. They got a bit of breaching done as well. Second step here, right? Because you got the Deimos and Solid Snake, I feel like you're forced to try and take some fights on blue and go for backstab like Tusk did last time, because how can you go for a 4-man kitchen execute like DC did with this lineup? Not to be.
Ooh, Nitro.
How do you take third tunnel? Not easily, because there's no shield. C4 goes out, could find these strings. Oh, he stays alive. He's been straight across it.
It is so critical that he stays alive there. If he had died, that would have also been his tin can opener with him, and this hatch not likely to get opened up. Final Nitro cell, wasted by Kino. As the ace opens up the triple wall, there is not a lot of safe positions here for DZ. Weibo now have a chance.
That's the gap that I spoke about, Solid Snake. That's going to be a big win condition. The issue is you need to find the first kill, create the chaos on the server, make DC spin around in circles looking for the angle to cover. Weibo, they have to find the first.
And the clash marches on forward. Bikino has gone down to Gotti. Now looking for a big
backstab.
Oh my god, he baits it! And now Weibo look to execute together. Turn has found another one. It's J90, the only one left.
Patience.
He's trapped at AKs. But the plan has not been confirmed as of yet. Does he know where that defuser is? It doesn't bloody matter! Reaps is there! A reprisal of form! And we're here at breakpoint, 5 rounds apiece!
Or if you're Gohan and you're watching that round, you're thinking, if this doesn't work out, they didn't listen. But because it worked out, it's all okay. DC called their attack timeout.
After sight on this round. And then if we do back to basement, did he print off the fucking fake roam for us?
Yeah, I think we have it.
Let's go cash and let's go back into the fake roam after that. Slow me down a little bit off the clear. They already think we're roaming shut, so.
Heard.
Yeah.
Just crank it out. Little simple A round, that's all it is. They're just dropping hatches and flying down staircases and shit. Just call it crosses. Simple.
Yeah, we do have fake roams, last one. Heard on it. For the cash side, let's do... What is our hardest Raptors strat? It's just like base, master contest, yeah? And then Bayou get in there?
We have the cash ratatouille prep, where I hide in there.
Yeah, let's do that.
I love hearing the call-out adaptations there for the side, just kind of making it very simple for Weibo are trying to accomplish, right? They're flying down hatches, flying down staircases, and that is the view of what happened if you're against them. But if you're watching from our perspective, it's like they had no other choice because they kind of scuffed themselves in the operator lineup to begin with. I am very curious, though, if Weibo will make that adaptation and go and called break the bunker, because they could get baited otherwise.
Well, I think that the big adaptation for that round from Weibo, while they didn't counter the power positions like AKs, which ended up being the last player alive, by the way, the critical thing was hard breach, right? Having that ace in the lineup, having that bandit and Kai banned, if there was a Tubarao that round, I think it would have been a completely different story.
Yeah.
But of course, the thing that was called there by DZ in that tactical timeout was this cash round, right? And they were talking about a particular strat. I didn't hear the details of it, but
fake roam?
No, that was for the next round.
Okay.
So they said if we lose cash, regardless of what happens in this round, next round we go to a fake roam. So keep that in the back of your mind. There will be a fake roam next round, unless if DZ change their minds.
The biggest thing for me, though, was Weibo's ability in the chaos to calculate who's going to make the play, right? Tursta walks down blue, baits the clash in, drop the hatch, get the kill, while the tech from motor door. The fact that they can navigate the chaos of that end round is why they're currently sitting on 5-5.
Look, Weibo are used to playing in the APAC region. They used to play
region.
Souffle and Pika and all the Daystar boys, all the Souls Heart and Orchid boys. They used to Chaotic Siege.
So I think right now, I mean, look at the attacking lineup. This is exactly what Gohan wanted. Breaking the bunker. You got the Capitao. You got the Thatcher. There's no more wall denial on the breach here, but there are 4 impact grenades. This is where you would want the Thermite Hibana, but they've both been bent away. Look at the value here. Impact goes out, and all of a sudden you have a really bad prone hole and really bad standing hole to peek through. There is a third Cellman pocket, but guess what? There are also 2 more impact grenades. And that means that's all your hot destruction in the main breach. You cannot go for a can opener for Hoven because, well, it's exposed now. So this just means that you can't enter from the breach, you can still peek through it. But it also means that if there's no attackers on it, and you patch up the hole with an Asami Keeper barrier, it's just fake pressure doesn't exist anymore. So
I
just
also
late round watch for that.
I do wonder as well if there's a chance later for the Selma to detonate. Indeed there is, so there you go. Problem solved for Weibo. They are able to have an entry into the bomb site, and now they target the players and the utility that remains.
There is one other thing though. Now they can't use the Selma charge for the inside bomb site wall leading to Catwalk Rafters. If they want to go for a garage attack, they're going to have to brute force it. Garage door, bottom garage breach. There are 2 Catwalk players. Okay? Jaina and Noah is playing in that position together with Newers. One by the window, one by Rafters position 2.
Newers is just hiding.
And right now they're committed. Look at the player lineups. They're on the garage door. They're downstairs. They have to make this entire round work off Catwalk. If they clean both kills, it will be free.
The EMP comes out though, that might enable the fire from the Capitao to go out into the first position, which is on to Newers, who's trying desperately to look for a peek. They haven't landed the shots as of yet. Out comes the first fire, but that's the last of them.
Jumped out the breach.
And Folds finds one. The jump out doesn't work for Folds. Unnecessary pressure from DZ. Weibo win the exchange with Turd going down, but at the price of 2.
Maybe you need Catwalk now. There are players stalking Catwalk Rafters. No, they're going to commit to it actually. They thought it was clear, but it's not.
Newers. He might have just given a lifeline over to DarkZero. Hoven takes the 1v1. There were no Selmas left for Speakeasy to try and breach that catwalk wall. There's actually no rotate as well. This is a critical moment.
The timing.
If Gotti can find that kill, what else can't he do? It's now up to DZ. Kino with 0 kills, Newers with 10 to clutch up and prevent Weibo from stealing the match point they thought was rightfully theirs.
The no garage is clear because Newers is downstairs, so they can take that control, but there's almost no time left. 10 seconds. An attacker on the roof, one by the breach, and Speakeasy on the catwalk.
The clock will be their biggest enemy for Weibo. They need to find that kill. They need to find their way inside, but they cannot do so. DZ might have had the numbers advantage, but they sat back, they waited. All they needed to do was prevent the plant, and they can say that they checked that off nicely. Weibo now staring down match and elimination point from EWC.
Such a small detail, right? The Thatcher MPs, they were sapping Magnus, they were sapping the Jaeger ADSs, but there was one that went unsapped, and it saved Newers. That first Capital Fire arrow, it was spot on. And then they're gonna have a player on the outside breach waiting to cut him off if he were to sprint away. At the same second, the ADS catches the fire arrow, Foltz peeks the main breach. That's a winning microplay there from DC. Foltz then, arguably in hindsight, overcooked. He jumped out the breach looking for a second kill. He got traded successfully. But DC, they said, guys, now we're making it happen, and you will win or lose the round off that play.
And a big part of that is the fact that there was a double reinforcement on Rafters. If that was only a single reinforcement, Weibo would have had to wait into plant.
And that's the thing. This is so hard because hindsight, right? Gohan wanted the boys to break apart the bunker. And this is maybe where the one weakness of APAC comes to shine through. You get 0 practice in domestic play at that setup because they don't play that style in the majority of APAC games, especially in Asia. So it's the right thing to do strategically, but you're taking Weibo, the players, out of their comfort zone, out of their practiced element. Look at how they attack the basement attack. Pure chaos, gunfighting, gap finding, brute forcing. Then they get pacified into problem solving a late round, it falls apart.
And now we get to see DZ show us the fake roam that Callout mentioned in the tactical timeout. At the moment, it's not looking particularly fake. There is Newers all the way upstairs, the top fragger for DZ. He's fallen back to stage, and he might be about to come back to the bomb site as well. He can continue using his gadget, however. The Solid Snake on the other side will be soft countered by the Vigil, but can still allow a lot of map control to be taken here for Weibo.
It's all about trying to bait him in right now. They know roughly where each other are attacking or defending from. The Newers has been so good today, especially on Lair, playing that 4+1 strat of just doing his own solo roam game. And I think they both roughly have an idea, but he can be scored back by Foltz with a pre-fire action. But this is turns to getting good value by effectively doing nothing, just waiting for the gunfight that will never come his way.
And this fake roam is working. You can see the mute jammers have really stalled out the droning on the top floor. Also, Speakeasy's onto his shield.
I know what they go and say, do not hide behind the shield. If you pick for it, you're gonna get in there, you're gonna fight, you're gonna get intel, be in the front lines. Right now, he was on the roof for half the round, only just entering gym after his teammates droned the majority of it for him.
He said, if you're on the shield, I don't want to see you droning. It has been a slow round from Weibo. The only saving grace will be their explosivity in the late round.
This is such a hard round if you're a pro player. I've been here myself before. Timer's ticking down every second. You feel the pressure, elimination point as well. You're going to be going home and not breaking the top 4, which would be historic for your region. the goal for this Weibo roster, it keeps increasing. They expect to qualify for majors, expect to go into playoffs, expect to now start breaking into top 4 territory, and to do it against DC, who just came off a major victory. Historic for the players. First time for everyone but Speakeasy, and Gohan would be so proud. And it's gonna come down to this.
Impact trick.
A 5v5 in the basement, C4 goes out, Impact Grenade as well, denying the hard destruction, combined with the Hibana band from earlier.
Oh, I don't
it
like
makes this attack fall apart in the late round before we even get there. There are 2 Selmas left in pocket. It's the only bit of hard destruction, and they have to be so specific.
Oh my god, they haven't even breached the mid. Oh, wow.
They're flipping it again. The issue is, this is the 3rd time they've done this attack. Where Tursta goes down blue, where somebody follows on the hatch, they go down Hobbit main staircase, and they drop Moto. They've shown this twice already.
It has to work. It's go big or go home now for Weibo Gaming. As the major champs sit back, relax, and wait. They lash out. They find the first. Gotti finds one. Needs to double up, but he can't do so as of yet. And he's trapped. Speakeasy, good for one. Trade it back again. It's Reaps, the last one. The major champs can take a bunch, and they can dish it straight on back. With the solar eclipse hanging over the Sen, DarkZero chase the trophy into the semi-finals.
A heartbreaking final round for the fans of Weibo Gaming, but a DC that holds on strong, unbreakable.